going to start recording.
I have hit the record
I gotta be done by 3 to watch the Miami Grand Prix.
Nice.
I think it'd be funny if you just started watching in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah.
You should make noises along with the cars.
I hope we're not. Oh yeah, it's 3 your time, so yeah.
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 We haven't hit 4 hours yet, so hopefully, we won't.
No.
Let me tell you,
if we hit 4 hours, if we ever hit 4 hours, I will turn off my microphone and go for a walk.
I thought you were gonna say protest.
I would have to get up and do something. I would be dying.
Yeah.
Well.
You can't sit max that long.
Sit maxing.
The problem with America these days is that everyone's sit maxing.
Everyone's sit maxing.
So true.
Well, actually, I don't know. Apparently, Americans lean on everything, according to the fucking internet.
Americans lean on everything? What does that mean?
Yes, this is a thing. This is a thing that has, cropped up of, oh, how do you identify an American? Is that they lean on everything. And then this somehow graduated... And then this graduated to, the CIA, when, they sent people over to, communist countries, they had to teach the Americans not to lean on everything, because it'd out them as an American. And I'm like, this sounds fake.
That sounds so fake.
This is so fake.
What are you talking about?
Leave this in the podcast. I need the people to know.
Cold open this week.
Yeah.
I know there's a story of, how, Orthodox versus Catholics do the cross differently, which is usually how that played out in the.
Hold on, I need to know this. What's the difference here? Because I do up, down, left, right.
I don't know the order. I just know it's different for Orthodox versus Catholic /
Wait, really? Orthodox sign of the cross versus Catholic sign of the cross. What the fuck are they doing?
Anyway, what the CIA should have been doing is teaching Americans to do the squat, instead of the lean.
One of the it's
wait, they only use 3 fingers for this bitch? And move from right to left? Wow. Damn.
When an American voice actor puts on a fantasy British accent and then says the word frustrated, it's always oh, you're American.
Wait, how do they say it?
Well, because in America you put the emphasis on the first syllable.
Yes, frustrated.
Not here. Frustrated.
Frustrated. I see. See, this is my it always takes me out when my Canadian coworkers say against instead of against, like we do down here.
I mean, I say against, but sometimes against, depending on the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you say the and sometimes you say the.
See, I alternate those two, I feel.
Yeah, it's context specific. Yeah. It's not something you think about. I think against and against is similar. But it could also just be a case of one is more American and one is more Canadian, but Canadians, just by virtue of culture pressure, are gonna sometimes use the American saying.
When China takes over Britain and I become enlisted in the Pan-Atlantic Cold War and I accidentally drop an "in" in my deep cover operation.
This is a purely part of Wisconsin thing, but it's a bubbler. It's not a drinking fountain.
No, it's a water fountain. There's no bubbles.
That's a bubbler.
There's no Ultra 7 there. Anyway, let's clap, even though Red should keep all this in the podcast.
Yeah.
誰かが行かねばならぬ時 Ultraman Leo.
Hello, you are listening to Ultra Q, episode 102. It is the 2, right?
Yeah.
I haven't miscounted. Yes, 102. My name is Red. I'm joined by Mel.
They got fucking one of the Banjo-Kazooie guys on that Moon Rock Kaiju.
They do. They do. Also joined by Brad.
I don't know, guys. I think she just wants to go to the moon.
I think she just wants to... I
think we can
she
chill
might
out.
I think maybe you can't actually fight fate. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, there's a chapter of Golden Wind about that.
It's all Brad's favorite JoJo part.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Think of all the narrative depth it adds.
Yep.
As the final chapter of your manga.
Yeah.
Golden slop.
Golden.
Brad is like botching that one tweet word about turning the cards into frogs.
Man. Well, we are here for 3 more episodes of Ultraman Leo. We have seen the light at the end of the tunnel.
By which you mean darkness, as in the tone of the show,
yes,
which is back, as it should be.
we got out of the Folklore series, and then we got an episode that probably would have been the best of the horror series, but they didn't. It just, I just stopped doing series in the middle of your show.
I think they stop after this. I don't think I've heard of any series after this.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. Who knows? 80 could have anything.
80 will have 80 Ultramen.
You heard it here for.
Yes.
80 of them. Well, before we get to any Ultraman Leo, I have done nothing really. But I watched some Star Trek this morning.
Original series?
Yeah, original series. It's like kind of annoying. It's like an annoying situation with the original series where like there's a remaster version that is like readily available, easy to get your hands on.
Is that all the one on the streaming services, I'm assuming?
It's the one it's the one that's very easily available on streaming services. You can also get it, elsewhere very easily, and it's like very good. It's like it looks really, really, really good. And then it switches to like a shot of the spaceship and it looks like a video game. And I'm like, where's the model? Where's the why?
Oh yeah,
because they did all those special effects. And
so it's a Star Wars special edition.
It's a Star Wars, but it's frustrating because I've also got easily accessible on the internet. Well, I guess I found it on the Internet Archive. I guess until that gets nuked. Is like a DVD copy of like the original series with all the original effects kept in. It's weird. People talk about how they remastered all the effects. They didn't. It's just some of them. It's just the spaceships. The spaceships and the planets are just look like I'm playing a video game, a Star Trek video game now.
Have you ever seen
really
that shitty 2.0 version of Ghost in the Shell? Where they do this with like a bunch of random shit, they just make CG for no fucking reason.
I heard it was bad, and so no, I did not.
It's really bad. That's immediately what came to mind.
It's just it's just frustrating because like I understand why they did it, because like I bet in like the quality of like a Blu-ray, the original like matte paintings of like these planets and this little model look really bad, really bad. But also, well, I want to see it. There is a Blu-ray of the original Star Trek that you can switch between the remastered effects and the original effects.
Oh.
But that's not the version that's readily available on the. I would have to buy a Blu-ray. I would have to figure out which Blu-ray to buy, and I would have to buy that Blu-ray. And I'm like, I'm not gonna. I've seen all this before, really, like years and years ago, just watching it on TV. So like, I'm not really. I'm just gonna watch. So it's like an annoying thing with the original Star Trek, but it is what it is. I watched a couple of episodes of OG Star Trek recently. It was, Star Trek. It's good.
Yeah,
when it's good, it's good. It's when it's about when it's bad, it's like, wow, that's bad. But when it's good, it's really good.
Yeah. One day I'll watch Star Trek. Well after I finish Sequest.
Lol. fuck StarQuest. It's all about oceans. Space is not the final frontier.
Imagine like an ocean-pilled Ultraman series.
I mean, that was supposed to be Matt, wasn't it?
Well, they forgot.
With the underwater base, they forgot. Just like how they forgot about it in this show as well.
Yeah, Oka escapes from the base by taking a submarine and going up to the surface and then running out.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Star Trek was like my only. I guess the thing is, I watched Suzume like a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't talk about it because I completely forgot because it's Suzume. It wasn't very good. It was weird. It was like a weird tourism movie. I watched it with a friend, and I was talking about how like I was getting I was like, I don't know, I haven't really watched a load of Shinkai stuff, but like I'm getting a foot fetish vibe from this. And he was like, really, why? I'm like, well, I'm just picking it up. And then like we got to a scene that was like, this is crazy feet stuff, and I'm like, I'm just saying, I just have a radar. I can just tell. I know. And then I look up Shinkai's other movies, and I see there's a movie about like the Garden of Words is about like a guy who wants to make shoes for a woman or something. I'm like, okay.
I never realized. I thought you were talking about the same movie there for a second.
No.
It's new to me. He made 2 of these.
Suzume, the other thing about it was like my first run-in with the fact that Shinkai movies just have real brands in them. Because my only other Shinkai thing was 5 centimeters a second, which like I don't think there's anything like that in there. But this was, I was like seeing like real McDonald's and stuff, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Why did that guy just pull up Apple Music? What are you talking about? Very strange. Movie not very good. It does meet the bare minimum of being deranged about the chair thing. The movie knows that it's weird for the girl to sit on the chair. For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, Suzume is if you didn't see a trailer for Suzume, you should go watch a trailer for Suzume and you'll see what I mean. The movie knows it's weird for her to sit on the chair or stand on the chair. And I'm just like, I see you, movie. I know. You're not getting away with nothing. Anyway. Who wants to go next?
I have almost nothing this week.
Okay, you can do that.
Long-time listeners may know that the end of the month is a hellscape for me. And that was also true for this end of the month. Which means I basically had half of a week, and in that time, I mostly just sat on my ass watching Unsolved Mysteries on my smart TV. And loafing about doing nothing, which was great. Honestly, I had a good time. But I did get a few things done. Nikke got us a victory, broke my tablet.
Yeah, you did post it.
Yeah.
So I was auto-battling.
Divine intervention.
Yeah. No, honestly. I had a friend joke that this was my excuse to become like a Mennonite out in the woods. Wow. And I was like, no. But I was auto-battling in that game. I wasn't even touching the goddamn thing. And my screen flickered, and I went, huh? And it was just black. And then I turned the tablet back on, and it was a mess of pixels, and it looks like the actual glass is not broken, but there is like a weird like white fissure crack like line of pixels running through, so I don't know if something inside snapped somehow. I've had the thing for like 3 years now. I ordered a replacement, which is coming today because I use that thing to watch YouTube videos and TV while I work, and I didn't really want to spend the money on a new one, but I thought about going through work without having that, and I was like, no, I could use my phone, but like I can't view it as easily, so I was just like, well, I guess that's more money down the drain, but you know. I guess I'll get like a newer version of the same tablet, I think. So hopefully it's like faster and better and stuff. But I was like, damn.
Rip.
I'm almost done with the latest Nikke event. I can see myself slowly transforming into an after all she's been through, she deserves the sky.
Oh my god.
Which is what all of the YouTube comments for every Nikke video, it's just people posting that. We discovered this live on the podcast, and as they've uploaded more videos and I've looked at the comments, every goddamn Nikke video.
It's all like that?
It's all like that. It's some guy going, after all she went through, she deserves this new form.
They should give me a new form after all I've been through.
I think we all do. Okay, so Red, I think you're right. I do think this game has the sauce. At least I think they found the sauce over some time. Because I've played through some of the older events and I wasn't super impressed. And this is the 2.5 anniversary, and I think, okay, maybe they're cooking with gas here. So, the premise I think I've talked about, it's all like Little Mermaid oriented, where a bunch of the side characters got swallowed up by Gluttony, which is like a big boss evil monster out in the sea. Like very Leviathan coded. Mm-hmm. And she has this protective...
big boss in the ocean, not the jungles of Russia, just so everyone knows.
Yeah. So she's in this like big protective bubble space, this Little Mermaid creature. I say creature, she's just another robot girl. And she needs to make sure that this very important power source inside the bubble doesn't get digested by the monster, or else it'll be like turbo powerful and like it might just end the world. And she is like, I can watch this thing alone. You guys need to go back up to the surface. So she like forces everyone out. But in the meantime, one of the side characters is this girl named Mori, who was supposed to be a mass-produced Nikke, but she was given a birth defect. She has like a unique face, which the mass-produced Nikkes aren't supposed to have. So she's this awkward in-between between the special, like, you know, the special SR and SSR Nikkes that you pull, and the generic slop units that you get.
She's like the Boba Fett of Nikke.
Kind of, except it's like, what if Boba Fett came after all the other clones? Like, she is unique, and she's the exception and not the norm. She's not the base or the template or anything.
Oh, she's the protagonist of A Clone Apart.
Sure. I don't know what that is.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Okay. This is like obscure machinima.
Okay. But she basically is on a... Part of the reason she ends up in this whale is because she's on a mission, because every squad... So she's not cool enough to hang out with all of the other, like, named units. She gets put into all the mass-produced squads. But they hate her because she has individuality and is, like, kind of unique. And she's not really fitting in with all of them. So they basically bully her... Every squad she joins, they basically bully her until she snaps, and then she gets into trouble and gets kicked out of the squad. So now she's been marked as, like, truly defective, and if she fucks up this last mission, they're going to just execute her. So she, like, hates her life, she hates everything, she's desperate to not die, but she befriends this Little Mermaid who doesn't give a fuck about any of the Nikke stuff, because she's been living inside of a whale for the better part of, like, a decade or so, it sounds like. So she's made one true friend for the first time. So they all get spat out of the whale, and she's like, no, that was the only person in my life who's ever cared about me. We need to go save the Little Mermaid from the whale. And meanwhile, that bondage-themed one, which I posted, has also befriended these people, and she's like, yeah, we need to come up with some weird science mumbo-jumbo to destroy that thing before the whale can digest it, and then find a way to extract the Little Mermaid from the whale. So they invent this stupid little capsule thing to, like, blow up the battery inside the whale, but then you have the problem of how do we get back inside the whale? So what you do is you give an upgrade to the bondage-themed Nikke so that she gets
binding chain?
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you about the binding chain, Mel. So the binding chain is a special whip that you can use to attach to a foe, and it will link your central nervous systems together for 5 minutes.
Yo!
Holy shit.
But here's the thing. Is that Mahara, her new body, is extra sensitive, but she also enjoys the pain.
I understand.
She enjoys the pain. So her shtick is that she links her central nervous system to the whale's and then starts to self-harm, causing the whale to thrash about in agony and open its mouth. And she's loving it. And this gives them enough time to go inside the whale and hopefully rescue the Little Mermaid. I don't know if they do or not, because I have like 2... They lock day by day how many story chapters you can do for the events, and I got like 2 left to do. But I was like, okay, maybe this game is galaxy-brained.
Maybe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Would you believe there's a Naruto villain like that and it's not horny?
Yeah. Which one is it again? Because
Hidan?
Okay, because I was like, I feel like that might have been after I checked out of Naruto. I don't know.
I'm glad I know nothing about Naruto.
Mm-hmm.
And I never will.
I stopped actually reading Naruto after Sasuke and Itachi's final confrontation. That was my checkout point. And then from there, I just kind of did like summaries and check-ins.
I see. You did drop it just before the catharsis of Naruto actually doing something, for real.
Oh, well, that's kind of funny because, like, that was part of why I dropped it. I was like, It's like 300. It's like 300 to 400 episodes of Naruto, of watching Naruto be kind of almost a hero, and it's like you're so. And then finally, he felt like an afterthought of his own series named after him. It was getting bad.
Yeah.
And younger me was like, I'm done. I don't fucking care anymore. And then after that, I just kind of checked in every few months, like, what's happening to Naruto now? And I did that all the way until it ended. So, the other thing, I have crossed a Rubicon. Crossed, yes. I've crossed a Rubicon in Muv-Luv Alternative, where I hit a moment that is infamous, has its own name, big story moment that is known for, like, being big plot beat, and then the plot just kind of ramps up from there. And I can't really talk about it, but what I can say is I do think it's gonna be hard for me to put that down from where I'm at. I played 4 hours of it yesterday. I'm deeply invested in what the fuck goes on from here. I think, a wide enough picture of the broad story of Muv-Luv Alternative that I can see them going 2 different routes with it, and I think both of them would be interesting. It's just a matter of me getting a little bit more info to see which one of those 2 they pick, and I'm curious about either which way they choose. Yeah, Muv-Luv Alternative continues to be extremely good, and I'm very happy with how it's going. It might just be the best visual novel of all time.
Damn.
Yeah.
I guess you'll have to go read all the other visual novels to stack up against Muv-Luv.
I will, and then I'll go on VNDB to rate appropriately.
Yeah.
I have a few candidates for what my next big VN to tackle will be after Muv-Luv. I don't know which exactly yet. I might circle back around and actually finish some of the Nasu shit.
I should finish Tsukihime because I started that one.
I have a few rounds of Tsukihime I need to do yet myself.
I do need to one day. I need to one day like actually do Umineko. It's been like a while since I did Higurashi.
My problem with Umineko is I read an hour of it and I went, wow, fuck. I hate how this guy writes a little bit.
That's clearly this is just like the first little bit of Name of the Rose. It's just, there's a mountain you gotta get across, and once you're through.
Well, even my friends who are true Umineko sickos.
Yeah, that's why I say it. It's like everything everyone says about like the opening bit of Umineko is like, damn, this is like really tedious, and it really does take a bit just to get the meat that everyone actually likes.
I would say my Umineko fans have also told me, even up until that visual novel ends, boy, does that author really like to repeat information you just learned, just to make sure everyone who's stupid who's reading along really gets what's happening and doesn't miss anything ever. And
he can be a bit repetitive. He probably needs a bit of an editor.
And in general, I have been told, like, even by people that love it, like, yeah, maybe it is a little bit too long for what it is, like, very excessive in how it's overwritten sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, that was one of the reasons I do feel like I latched onto Muv-Luv, is I'm just like, this moves at a clip. I will say, actually, this is something I can talk about. Muv-Luv Alternative, as of the last chapter, has really started to flash back to scenes I've seen not 1 or 2 hours ago. And I get that maybe they need to do that as they get into some of the more convoluted, like, scientific mumbo-jumbo. But boy, is it starting to kind of slow things down, and I'm not a fan.
Well, you see, it's because the protagonist voices Kiri Yamato.
But yeah, I was like, no, you've been so good about being the one that, like, didn't do this unless it was, like, really necessary. Because
I just remembered the really bad one in Persona 5.
Yeah.
You know the one.
Yeah. But it's like, I was so happy because you were the chosen one. You didn't do this, and now it's starting to do it, and I'm like, oh, come on. But it's not bad enough that it's, like, ruining
fall
anything.
Into the end slop.
Yeah. It's just like, there's literally a moment where they replay, like, a 7-minute scene with, like, a filter over it, and I was like, really? You couldn't have chosen a few sentences just to remind us of that? Like, you had to replay the whole scene? But so it goes. What can you do? Still having a great time with it, though. I'm really looking forward to playing more of it. And I think within maybe within a couple weeks to a month, I might wrap up Alternative. So,
yeah.
We'll see how I'm feeling.
Nice.
What's it the alternative to?
Unlimited.
Okay.
That's where the New Game Plus braid comes in.
Why is it called extra when it's the first one?
That one I'm still kind of like, about. Not gonna lie.
Is there a secret original Muv-Luv?
Oh, that'd be so fucking funny.
When are we getting Muv-Luv shoegaze?
Oh, you know what I will actually say, though, too, is I've reached the part of Alternative where all the characters from the publisher's other fucking VNs start to show up in bit parts, and it kind of rules. It's great. I am happy that I went into this with more knowledge than the average Muv-Luv fan back in the day would have had, because they've re-released some of that stuff. Even there's references to some things that just aren't available in any form in English, that I at least know, like, oh, that's a character from that. But there's a point where, like, they're like, hey, you guys want to go out to eat? And they go to a restaurant that is, like, the one the main character from Rumbling Hearts works at. And I'm like, let's fucking go! It's fun. But yeah, that's my week.
Wow. Nice. Muv-Luv still on my... Okay. I keep meaning to ask this question, and I don't ask it. Do I just buy Muv-Luv? Like, is the version I should play just the one I can get?
Yeah, just buy Muv-Luv. I mean, if you want the porn scenes, which I don't recommend, you can download a patch, but otherwise, you just download the thing called Muv-Luv, and then you follow that up by buying the thing called Muv-Luv Alternative.
Wait, they actually sell the patch? This isn't like
no.
This isn't like a
no. You just
okay.
It's
okay.
just a free thing.
Like it's how Steam. It's how VNs are able to get on Steam.
No.
They,
Yeah,
like...
sorry. When I said sell, what I meant was they actually like to this day have that available. I was because in my head I'm like. Oh,
it might
yeah,
be a fan
if you
thing,
can,
but I don't know.
The version
it's
on
official.
Steam is probably like I've got like I don't know. I've got like Fate Stay Night brain about this a bit. I've got like obviously the official version's you're not gonna be anyway.
It depends on the game.
Yeah, Muv-Luv is basically unchanged. There is an older version, and to be honest, I don't even know if that's the one that the fan patch back in the day was even made for. But like, it's basically like I think the only real difference is that the version that you have now versus the old original as released version is just a little bit more dynamic in terms of moving the camera around and zooming in on portraits and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was basically just kind of like I was Muv-Luv came across like I was like looking at Steam's like, oh, you can just get Muv-Luv on Steam, and I was like, wait a second. This might be a situation where, this is not the version I actually want to be reading. But if I, I'll probably just get Muv-Luv.
Yeah, honestly, like, what most people recommend, too, is, like, if you even want to wait a little bit, they just have a huge fuck-off Muv-Luv bundle of, like, do you want all of Muv-Luv everything
and just
one
wait
bundle?
For that to go on sale?
And sometimes that goes on sale. It's still kind of pricey, like, into, like, $80, $90 range, if I recall, but it is hundreds upon hundreds of hours of VN. People often recommend you wait for that, but...
Well, I will keep an eye out for that on Steam.
I have the main two anyway. And I think Photon Memories is as well, so...
Well... If that is all about Muv-Luv... Mel, what you been up to?
Yeah. Speaking of Rubicon...
Uh-huh.
I finished another one of them historical epics this past week.
Okay.
I read the 1963 Cleopatra.
I see.
Guess which this one's about.
Apparently,
this I think
is this the movie with Richard Burton and what's her face?
Elizabeth Taylor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have no idea if this movie is good, but this is the thing I know about this movie.
I ain't never seen
very
this
expensive.
Who plays who? I wasn't sure. Yeah, Richard Burton as Mark Antony.
Nice.
So there's a story about this one as sort of like one of the ones that's like putting the nail of the coffin of the genre in this period.
Yeah.
Because even though it was like financially successful, it was successful at the box office, but it, for various production reasons, it was like so expensive they still lost money on it.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like there was a lot of issues, including the fact that I think they filmed like 6 hours worth of movie, and they're like, we should do 2 movies with this. And then they were like, no, you're doing a single 3-hour movie. And which may explain why my experience watching this movie feels a bit like watching Gundam Age.
Oh no.
God, I need to hop on that shit. GGP is like halfway through it.
They're
really loving Eureka 7.
It's all about Flit. It's all about I was waiting for them to get to the coup, and then the delight of both of them when that episode happened was the most beautiful thing I could have asked for.
Asia's so fucking dumb.
Flit continues to get better until the final episode. It's just non-stop with that man.
Like you need to listen to them just lose their minds at Flit triggering a Mishimaku.
I need to catch up on Eureka 7, but I'm a few episodes behind. But yeah,
I'm like 5 podcasts back because I was just like, fuck it, I should just catch up on rewatches for both of these
Yeah.
and actually watch along this time. So I stopped listening to the pod for a few weeks just to do that, but I still need to do the work again.
I am not rewatching Age. I'm good. I can just live positively in my memory.
I'm due for an Age rewatch.
I don't know why I'm like watching it sped up just to remind myself what happens, but it helps the context. I'm not seriously watching it though. The way I am rewatching Eureka 7.
I'm gonna make a bowl of popcorn and get cozy.
But anyway, Cleopatra.
Yeah.
This movie's weird. It does kind of feel like two movies, like there's an intermission. It seems like there was a 4-hour cut released in 2013 that seems to be the most complete version of that movie. And the movie basically has two halves, which is about what you'd expect it to be. First half is like, oh yeah, this is the focus on Cleopatra and Caesar. And the second half is on her and Antony. And I think one of those is a bit better than the other, because I think that this version of Julius Caesar just has it. Like he's yeah, I like the performance of this guy. Let me see who his name is. Rex Harrison.
This is very it's who. Because this is very funny because in my mind, I assumed it was going to be the Mark Antony and Cleopatra stuff that was going to hit better because Richard Burton, Elizabeth Taylor, famously crazy chemistry in real life. Because, it's an actual couple on and off. It's one of the like nightmare relationships of Hollywood.
I could barely discern that because you went through like slow motion underwater.
Okay, hello?
Okay, are we back? Are we good?
We might be okay.
I think we're good.
I don't envy you this week, Red.
Ah, shit.
Anyway.
I think I've been stricken with some sort of like anti-technology curse that makes everything break.
Oh no, it's you.
Yeah.
I know. You Luddite.
Yeah.
Anyway, Red, you were saying about
like cosmic Luddites. It's like it's like by like anyway.
That's my Tinder name.
You see mutant power.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Red, you were saying about
I was saying about because I would have expected the Antony and Cleopatra stuff, the Mark Antony Cleopatra stuff to go up to be the better half, just because like Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor would have crazy chemistry. I would assume.
You'd assume. I found them just kind of it's fine.
Oh no!
I wasn't impressed by Burton in this movie. Though he may have been in the cut footage. Who knows?
Who knows?
I just it's just like this Caesar has a lot of personality. There's a good clip I just could post. I'll probably I tweeted it out, so I'll probably put it in the description just for the audience. There's like it's a clip of like Caesar with his son Caesarion training him how to be a king. And it's just good. There's a lot more of I feel like there's like a lot. I feel like the chemistry between this Caesar and Cleopatra is a bit more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a weird direction there. The movie, it feels like it overemphasizes Cleopatra as like a lover of these powerful Roman men. And kind of putting like the fact she's a statesperson subordinate to that in a way at times, especially in the latter half with Mark Antony. This child is I don't think he can act, but I love this I love this. He's so good. I don't know why in the screenshot I posted while the connection was underwater, why is he dressed like a fucking Belmont? I don't know why he's got that leather jacket, but it's good.
Oh, hang on, I need to scroll up and see this. Why is he dressed like this?
I don't know. I was just like,
Anyway, yeah, this is the most a 60s movie. I'm just looking at this.
Yeah, like the sets are good. There's a lot of high production values in terms of like the sets and stuff. Here's some cool boats. Because there was the big naval battle between Octavian and Mark Antony.
You know what? That water's a little too big. I think these might be models. Are these models or are these real?
I think it's real. I can't tell. There's definitely scenes where they're using big boats, but
you know what? There's people in this. Oh my god!
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
How much money this? Well, I mean, famous.
It was the most expensive movie at the time.
They just got really intricately designed model people that were heavily articulated.
I see.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like it does feel like, you know, there's a lot of like the movie starts with like Caesar wins the battle and he's like, well, we're gonna chase Pompey into Egypt, and by the time he's there, he's already dead. And there's a lot of like skipping, there's a lot of like jumping around, gaps you have to fill just by like knowing who these characters are from history, or even from like just like watching Shakespeare or something. And you know, Mark Anthony's just kind of like his entire shtick since he's a pathetic man riding Caesar's coattails.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. Which I guess is, you know, the victors of history. Caesar Augustus is running, yeah, and my rival was a loser, and I beat him, and I won, and that's why I made the Roman Empire.
Yeah. Did I tell you how much he sucked? Let me tell you how much he sucked.
Yeah. There's weird like Orientalism in this movie, like the way
about Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean gets wrapped up in like, you know, actually existing Roman Orientalism of both the Greeks and the Egyptians, which are, you know, ruled by Greeks. And it's like, you know, there's like elaborate, you know, there's like some elaborate parade scenes with like exoticized stuff. There's like, you know, there's like weird Orientalist attire that I can't really, you know. Also, I guess like, you know, I think during the Caesar half, it does feel like there's a bit of like Cleopatra almost has like a romantic dream in the sense of like, oh, what if we unify the world, almost like Alexander did, but couldn't. But maybe you, Caesar, we and Rome and Egypt together, we can do it. And like Caesarion is that bond, and meanwhile, I feel like that sauce isn't really there with the Mark Antony stuff. Especially because like Mark Antony is like, while having a relationship with Cleopatra feels like spiritually cucked by Julius Caesar from beyond the grave.
That sounds like the best kind of cucked.
Yeah. Like when they meet before she has their affair, she's like a necklace of like made of Caesar's coins.
Oh, that's good.
And then he's like indignant when she's like, "Oh, do you wear that when you go to sleep too?" Jeez. And then his whole arc is basically a downward spiral where at this battle he basically like leaves because Cleopatra thinks she's dead, and so she retreats, and so he abandons the battle to leave, which leads to him leaving, like his forces like losing, and at that point, you know, Octavian, the writing's on the wall. And so he basically is just like, I need to die. I'm a coward. I need to die a hero's death. Well, won't anyone duel me, please? Before eventually just falling on a sword, like a, you know,
loser.
Yeah, he's really, yeah. It's yeah. It feels like, you know, there's a lot of like gaps, which I guess makes sense when there's like so much cut footage, even when it's restored. I don't know if I don't even remember if this is like the version that was like restored, but I think I saw that that's the one that adds the intermission back in, so maybe, I don't know, I have to look it up. I ain't gonna rewatch it for the longer version, that's for sure. If I did watch the shorter version accidentally, but you know, yeah, it just feels like, you know, I liked the stuff with like Julius Caesar at the start. He just like had a good charisma, and I felt like, you know, things were just like a bit more interesting. There's a good shot, like, because the you know, Oh yeah, the movie has obviously the same as death scene, but the assassination. But the way it does is like Caesar leaves to the forum, and then like Cleopatra, who's in Rome with him at the time, at their villa, she's like, okay, I'm just gonna go to my fortune teller and ask her to turn on the news through the fortune telling fire, and so she watches the assassination happen through the fire. It's a fun effect. But yeah, like that part, you got like the setup, the intrigue of like, oh man, Brutus, he's like, he's like a son to Caesar, but he betrays him for the sake of the Republic. All that good stuff that you all know from history. But also there's like the weird like oh, the Roman Republic as a thing that's like worth saving the institutions, and Caesar is like, hey, I'm tired of all these like honorable titles that don't mean anything. I want like the real dictator for life, emperor power, like a real monarchy. And Cleopatra's like, yes, if you were a monarchy, that would solve everything, wouldn't it? And that doesn't really come up again with the Antony and Cleopatra stuff at the second half of the movie. Whatever that was, they were trying to go for that, which I'm not entirely sure what they're going for. Not like the Roman Republic wasn't conquering, enslaving people and the entire Mediterranean anyway.
But it's democratic, so it's good slaving.
Yes, well, yeah, it's democratic for the Italians only.
Yeah,
much like the United States.
Yeah,
or the Ezra Republic.
Precisely.
But yeah, it's maybe this is a better sell for some audiences, but on the other hand, maybe there is a reason this is one of the movies to help end the genre. Just by being like, well, they're so expensive, and if they're not going to be actually interesting, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Well, it's like how they're trying to. There is an attempt to make like some big Western multi-movie epic. I already have forgotten the name of. That seems to have done terribly, like last year or so. I'm just like, yeah, you gotta actually like, interest people.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. What the fuck is the name of that thing? It's gonna drive.
Is this the Kevin Costner one?
Yeah.
I've already definitely say the name of this.
Horizon, an American Saga.
I definitely say that this is better than Helen of Troy, at least, which isn't very hard.
Okay.
Debatable whether it's better than El Cid. But I think it's longer than El Cid, so I know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's just a matter of like if you like the charisma of Julius Caesar versus the most unhinged romance in the first.
I mean, your one for is the. I mean, are you talking about like 60s ones?
Yeah.
Like,
just like this era. Like I'm.
Yeah.
It feels
because I was like, well, obviously your one is Ben-Hur, but yeah,
this good movie. You watch Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
Where they had a compelling character. Yeah. I should rewatch that chariot scene again. That was a good scene.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely think like of the ones I've seen, like Ten Commandments, and then obviously at the top Ben-Hur, are the best ones, and also tangential but similar style, I guess. Once Upon a Time in the West also a lot better than this. That one, Once Upon a Time in the West, is pretty good movie.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah,
that one doesn't have an overture or intermission.
No.
But that is, I don't know if that's if there are many westerns with that, or if that's
I
just
don't think there are many spaghetti westerns with like an overture or an intermission. I don't think it's that kind of genre.
Nah.
If any of them have one, it's probably the good, the bad, and the ugly, but I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Can you imagine? Yeah. Imagine Avengers Endgame with intermission and overture.
You know what movie should have had an intermission and an overture? The Revenge of the Sith. Anyway,
that's
you know, there's like a bajillion people that have made fucking Dune parts 1 and 2 supercuts with an intermission in between.
Yeah,
that's gotta exist by now.
Yeah,
I never really get the point of the overture because I'm like, well, I mean, obviously, I'm not in a theater, but for me, I'm like, I'm just gonna skip this.
It goes back to the opera. It goes back to it's like this, the idea that if the overture is from a style of storytelling where the music is so important, that and then like having an overture for a movie is kind of a holdover from there. But like in an opera, to have an overture, it's like introduces you to the motifs, right? It's like I guess
for
it's like giving you the rundown on getting you prepped.
I guess in the Hollywood version, it's like, oh, the movie's gonna start, better get in here, and it's almost like maybe a bit of like the arcade effect where it's like, oh, you make a really big, loud, blaring machine, and people go and they go, oh, damn, what's going on in here? And it's like the greatest cinema event in the century, blah, 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 for like, you know, and there's 10 of these in the 60s.
The opera scene in Revenge of the Sith occurs apparently 57 minutes into the movie. It's about 2 hour, 20-minute movie. That would have been the perfect place to put
an intermission
sort of break.
Yeah. I guess.
Hang on, no, wait. How long did you say the movie was, and how far in did you say?
So the opera scene starts 57 minutes in, and then the full movie is 2 minutes 20 seconds.
2 hours.
2 hours. Yes. Yes.
2 hours and 20 minutes.
2 hours and 20 minutes. 2 minutes 20 seconds.
Intermission theory. Because when I did drama,
does it have to be halfway?
When I did drama in GCSE, we went to go see a play that put the 3-act play. It put the intermission after the first act, and none of us knew this. But when we discussed the play the next week at school, all of us were like, that was like the most boring, that play would never fucking end. And it was like, well, okay, like when you're putting on a play, ideally, if you've got a 3-act play, you know, don't put your intermission, don't make the audience sit through more play in the second half. Ideally, it should be less.
That makes sense.
When I was watching, in basically all of these movies, except for this one, I'll say.
Okay.
This one's
get more evidence. It's a fucking mess.
Yeah. Basically all these movies, like the ones I watched, the intermission was like after the second half, so like moves about like 2/3 of the way through the movie, not through the second half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like for 10 Commandments, the intermission is like right after Moses comes down from the mountain, having like aged like a Solid Snake.
Yeah.
And he goes back to
you know who's like Solid Snake? Moses. Oh,
I just think it's funny
when with God's help he defeats the Pharaoh, we bestow on you the title of Big Pharaoh.
No, I think Moses is kind of more like the boss, and like the 10 Commandments are kind of like the boss's will that everyone argues about afterward.
I see.
They're gonna found outer heaven in the Levant.
Yep. Who's the skull face of the Bible?
Who's the skull face of the Bible? I mean,
the Bible doesn't really have hidden guys like that.
Yeah. I forgot when Ben-Hur had the intermission, but the chariot race is after the intermission. That much I do remember.
Okay. Well, Cleopatra.
Yeah, this one was like it was closer to half in this case, which in some ways makes sense. But also like there was more of the Antony movie when I saw the runtime.
Okay.
I was speeding up as the movie went along because like this is getting a little.
Damn.
Richard Burton doesn't have the source.
No, at least not in this movie. And maybe some of it is like because they cut out all those good scenes, but you know.
What's my favorite Richard Burton movie?
There was a funny part where, like, you know, after Antony dies, someone just says, yeah, anyway, Cleopatra's are too. Oh, by the way, Mark Antony's dead to Octavian, and he's like, oh, that's it? I feel like we should say it like more like grandiosely when he's like, this is my big rival. Like, you're just saying it matter of factly, and he has a big like rant, like theatrical like rant about it. I think Octavian in this movie is a bit fun. Like I think they do well. Of, like, they starts off showing him as like the, you know, the scrawny kid, but who slowly like amasses his like political and military power until like, oh yeah, he's the emperor of the Roman Empire now. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm so fucking. My parents have raised me so dad mode. My favorite Richard Burton movie is easily Where Eagles Dare, which is a war movie. Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood in the same war movie. It's good. Anyway.
Yeah. I had one more thing after.
Go for it.
This, yeah. So, as you all know, Celebrate Genre has been wrapping up their Gibson, their Cyberpunk season. And I dropped Mona Lisa Overdrive.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I felt like I still had the itch in me. I felt like I needed to dig into like the genre more before leaving behind for this new season. And so I felt like I need gonna go dig into the certified classic.
I know where this is going.
And which dares ask like bold questions like what if oven hooked up to internet? That's right. I finished the classic 2001 Game Boy Advance game Mega Man Battle Network.
Okay.
Yippee.
And also, while I'm at it, my friend and I finished watching the first season of the Mega Man Battle Network anime.
I never thought about it, but Battle Network is kind of just cyberpunk, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, maybe not the punk part, because it's all things considered pretty utopian, even though it's like the implications of like where the clear problems are. It's
pretty cyber consumer.
Yeah. Cyberslop. But yeah, this is you know, one of the main pillars of the Mega Man franchise. I think it's the most profitable one, just because like hit at the right place, right time, right style of just like, you know, Game Boy Advance portable games, and just like tapped into like the merch driven style. Had a collection release a couple years ago, which was sort of like the context for all of this, where like I at the time I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to buy the collection right away, because like similar to Legends, Mega Man Battle Network has been like a white whale for me as a Mega Man fan, and in some ways it's kind of like a more egregious white whale, just because like it's, you know, those are a bigger deal games and there's more of them, so it's kind of a bigger blind spot, rather than it's like the Legends series is almost like, well, you know, they're important, but you can all understand why someone may not have like played them at this point in day and age.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, unfortunately, both my playthrough of this first game and me starting this show with the friend, it started about 2 years ago, and life happened, so it's taken way too long to finish this. But yeah, so for those who don't know, Mega Man Battle Network is you know, some kind of, it's a bit of like a tactical action role playing game. Where it's like about, you know, the lore is that like instead of like the robot based society of the classic series, which from the X series onwards spirals into continuing apocalyptic events, you have a new internet based society instead, and so everyone has like you know, an internet friend on their devices, not their phone, because this was made before smartphones. But instead, everyone has like their net navi, which is like a little AA buddy that lets them navigate the internet, and you can fight computer viruses and stuff. And so there's like a deck building aspect where you get the little battle chips that fill up your folder, and you have like a little deck where like you have like either cards of the same type or cards of the same letter code you're able to select in the same sort of like turns home code, because it's sort of like the battle system is fought on like the 2 sets of 3x3 grids, one on your side, one on the enemy side. And there's like tiles to like expand or lose your area. But there's like the battle phase where like you're moving around in real time. You can shoot with a buster when you don't have a chip, but ideally you want to have like your chip set mapped to a different button to like hit the enemy with the stronger attacks, which include like, you know, big guns, swords, which you have to get up close. You can like summon another Navi with Navi chips as like a kind of like a summon for a more powerful attack, but you can only have a limited number of those in your folder because they're strong. Things like that. And so the meta of all these games is like you want to collect all the chips for completion, but also use those to get like a good deck for like good synergy to be able to pull off like the better combinations. Because obviously, you know, the more like diverse your folder is in a way, the more you're just gonna be like, well, I can only do 1 or 2 chips in a turn, as because there's a bar that fills that decides when you're allowed to go back into your folder. And so basically the game is kind of set up like an episodic anime where, you know, there's like a bunch of chapters where like, you know, the main character Lan, who's in the Japanese versions named Neto because they're all internet puns.
Okay.
Yeah. And his net navi, Mega Man, they solve incidents because there's like a cybercrime group called Roll 3, spelt WWW, you know, BWs, because, you know, the internet. And so you have to go stop incidents. Or like, oh no, someone locked all those kids in a school. Oh no, someone is having all our internet connected stoves burn out houses, etc., etc. And so, you know, there's a bunch of like dungeons in there. There's also the internet, which is like a really big dungeon where you have to navigate around. You can go to different parts of the world. Though in this game in particular, it seems like this is the most annoying and really obnoxious internet navigate, just because they don't differentiate the areas in terms of aesthetics, and also like just the design is especially labyrinthian. And also there's you know, this is people usually consider this game to be like, it's like the roughest. I had a decent enough time, and part of it was I was playing on the collection with a lot of you know, they have like little quality of life features like the Buster Max mode, where it's like, well, you can, if you're just gonna, you know, I ain't use it much, but sometimes you're just like, well, I'm just gonna use this feature where I can turn it on and have a billion times more damage for my gun, and then I just solve problems. But yeah, it's, you know, they also this is also a notable game where like this game only and not the sequels, you heal after every battle, but also you can only run away from battle from a special escape chip in your library. And later games make it so that you, more conventional like an RPG where it becomes like, you know, endurance run, you don't heal after every battle, so you have to like be more mindful of like using recovery chips or something like that. But also you're allowed to, you have like the option to run from battle with like a shoulder button, I think. And you know, it's not, it's like an RPG, but it's not like a really character driven or plot driven RPG. It's just kind of, you know, it's really like the writing is like brief. There's a couple of characters like who are just like cardboard cutouts that like are standing around. It's like, hey, do you want to fight my net navi so we can get another extra boss fight who could give you more powerful chips for? Like there's the fishmonger named Masa who has like Sharkman. There's Miyu, a fortune teller, who is Skullman, and then there's Sal, who's like a gardener who has a Woodman, and they're like the bonus bosses you can fight. Yeah, I mean, you know, I had a decent time. I mostly was like, I know if I go back to, I need to do this one first, because most people are like, this is the one you just skip because it's really rough. There's a lot of like weirdness because they haven't sorted things out, and I was like, I had decent enough time. I still think it's fun.
I remember the encounter rate being something.
Yeah,
when I played that game.
You can look at. There's definitely like the encounter rate on the internet's ridiculous and really annoying, and I think you can like look at one of my VODs.
The encounter rate on the internet is ridiculous and annoying.
Well,
true.
You know what? They actually
Mega Man Battle Network predicted the Blue Sky Discover tab.
The thing is, the thing is, like, I think, like, some
your
guys...
mum's a public platform, dear Blue Sky user.
There was like an interview I think I saw where like they mentioned like, hey, what would it be like if you made a new Battle Network game in the modern day? They say like 15 years after the games, and when it's like, you know, mid-10s or late 10s, and they're like, yeah, at the time we were just like doing like, you know, the internet was pretty new and we were doing like stuff we thought would like fun and exciting. Now some of this stuff we predicted was just kind of normal, like your fridge is just connected to the internet now, and it just feels like we can actually make another game because now all this stuff is just normal.
Yeah.
It's like it's like the Chobits thing where it's like you create a sci-fi thing that's almost like a period piece because of like when in time it was made.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of interesting at that point. Like it's of the era of like internet as magic still. Much, you know, not unlike the decade earlier Gridman. Yeah, it's really interesting from that point of view. Anyway, it's like it's basically like a Toku structured show, the game in a bit way, just from like, oh yeah, there's like different episodes, and you do the episodic plot, you beat the monster of the week, quote unquote, and you know it's like, you know, it's pretty brief frame, and like it's only life reasons that got in the way of me actually like beating it on a reasonable amount of time. But you know, I'm glad I played it. There's the anecdote when that collection came out that one of the developers for the game was there's a notorious dungeon with like invisible floors where I just, you know, I looked at a map on Steam someone uploaded to find those, and he mentioned like tweeting out like his frustration was like, man, this dungeon sucks, who designed this? Oh wait, I did. I'm gonna go play the second game now.
Well,
so it is usually, you know, I'm not like, I think, you know, if you are like a hardcore Mega Man fan who's like a, you know, I want the whole historical context of the series, check it out. But if you're like not, if you don't value that as much, you know, you can skip this one probably. Like this, I had a decent enough time, but I also know that like basically every game after this one, except for maybe the fourth one, is like more polished than this in like every way.
Yeah.
I think even then the fourth one's probably more polished than this. It's just like rougher in other ways, but you know, I'll see that road when I get to it.
My Battle Network friend does say that even though he does not like 4, he will replay it. When he replays all the games, he never touches 1 again.
Yeah, like it's, you know, and you know, I almost wanted to like, I thought it'd be fun maybe to beat base in like all the games because like, oh, that sounds like a fun challenge. But then it's like,
is he in one?
He's in all of them, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
But
for some reason I thought he came later.
But one that means like, that requires getting all the chips, which is like really annoying. And like 2, it's like all the super bosses that I'd want to fight in 1 are in 2 anyway, and so I'm like, oh, just, you know, I'll just fight him in that game. It's fine. I don't need to complete this.
Do you think in the PAL version they were called crisps?
Yeah, Battle Crisps.
Battle Crisps.
Yeah.
I do want to finish this game at some point. I have attempted to get into it twice. The second time I got further in than the first attempt, but yeah, like I think I just hit a point where I was like, the actual like internet part where you're doing the RPG stuff was not really holding my interest. But I do want to play it before I dive into the other games.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah.
I mean, are you playing
the first one is the first one is the only one I've ever attempted to play.
Okay. Were you playing on the collection recently or no?
No, this is way pre-collection.
Yeah. I guess if you ever like do get the collection, just use Buster Max on the internet. Just like, you know.
My brainworms prevent me from ever using quality of life features like that.
That's also what I did. Like usually I mostly didn't. I just sometimes I'm like, I'm just gonna do this for experience.
Like I'm the guy
for things that don't matter.
Well, I'm the guy that sees when RPGs come out with re-releases that have the like, oh, you can turn off random encounters. I'm like, no.
No.
Even if the encounter rate sucks, I'm like, no. Why would I do that? That's just a lie.
The only time I used that for like when I played FF7 and FF8 on the Switch was I used like ×3 where I'm like, I'm just gonna grind for a bit.
That makes sense.
But yeah. Anyway, the anime though.
Now this I did watch a lot of as a child, actually.
So, do you remember when I said that like this game, even though it's RPG, is like light on like characters and dialogue and stuff like that? It turns out you have to add a lot more of that in when you make a 50 episode anime about these characters. And so what you get instead is a generally pretty good, I'd say, kids anime. I'd say it shines mostly in like the comedic episodic bits. I'd say the episodic comedic episodes are pretty great. I think the plot is okay. Like, that's entertaining to watch, but it's not like the most gripping thing in the world when it's just like, oh yeah, we're doing plot of the games. The first season, by the way, covers like I think loosely the first two games. So like the mechanics from 2 and the enemies from 2 start showing up the second half of the show, like after like episode 25 or so. Yeah, it's pretty good. I do think that, there's like in the second core, like episodes like 12 to 21 or something, and there's like a tournament arc that drags a little too long, which is unfortunate because I was like, oh man, everything before this is great. And there's a weird bit where they start because of the plot of the second game, they start traveling around the world a little bit, and there's a little bit of there's a bit of racism. There's a little cultural sensitivity, and just like
touch of the racism, just a little.
Yeah,
the spice.
Like they go to Curry Land, the curry country. That's like the curry
really, country called Curryland.
Yeah, really racist to South Asian people.
It's actually called. This isn't a joke. It's called Curryland.
I don't know if it's exactly called Curryland, but something close to that. It definitely has Curry in the name.
I see.
I'll look it up later. But yeah, I'm just gonna put this clip from one of my favorite scenes in the show. Just like there's like when I mentioned those 3 optional bosses who are just like 2D cardboard cutouts in the first game, because they're like, well, we need characters as part of a recurring cast to expand. We made all 3 of those guys regular, not only regular characters, but also like, they're like both like friendly, the friendly neighborhood guys who the main cast gets to know. But also, all 3 of them are secretly government agents who deal with cyber crimes. And like, so Masa, the Sharkman guy, he's like, in the anime, he's like a double life, pretending to be like the bumbling fishmonger who doesn't know anything about the internet, who secretly disguises himself as a quote-unquote superhero named Captain Beef, who wears a helmet and a towel around his neck.
I don't know if I remember this one.
And I'm like,
damn, that's wild.
Now I'm like, these guys who are like basically like 2 lines of perfunctory dialogue as excuse to give you a boss fight in the games. They're like, oh, these are my guys now. I love these guys. I have a fondness and affection for them because I've seen them do crazy stuff in like 50 episodes of anime. Like at one point he's just like, they have to rescue him from the moon, and it's like, why are you on the moon? You're selfish.
He's up there with Mega Man. He's up there with Mega Man at the end of different timeline.
Yeah, different Mega Man.
I genuinely think that anime was a huge part of why those games did so well. Because like, I watched the show when I was younger, and I didn't even play the games, and I remember liking it a lot.
I feel like I was weird. Like I feel like I watched the kids are weird. Kids are weird and have weird tastes.
And we'll just okay, Mel, speak your truth about children.
And
yeah, what about the whippersnappers?
Fuck those whippersnappers. I'm thinking as myself, though, like sometimes you just arbitrarily don't like something for like no reason because you're a kid and you're just like, I'm gonna like this. Why? Mm-hmm. Well, it's stupid. But why is it stupid? Well, it's dumb. That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, like I think I sometimes watch like episodes of dubbed over here as Mega Man Anti Warrior. And I think I bounced off it. And I think that for whatever reason, I just meant for a long time, I was like, Mega Man is stupid and poopy and never play it until I played it years later.
You were a Code Lyoko girl.
Well, no, actually, the Code Lyoko was also stupid and bad.
You just hated anything that had to do with cyberspace.
Yeah, well, I liked my life as a teenage robot, so clearly I was like more tapped into like the.
You were more robot pilled.
Yeah, more robot pilled. And yeah, I didn't care for. I guess I didn't because I was a kid. I was just like, oh, I'm not gonna watch this. This is dumb poo poo show. But yeah, I can definitely see that because like I feel like this show adds in all like the characterization to the guys that you don't really get in the games, like Eugene Chaud, who's like Protoman's master, is just like standoffish rival guy, but he gets like to do stuff more in this show where he's like he's like vice president of a company with like a rival that's like a rival to Yai, who's like the rich girl, who's part of Lan's team, and it's sort of like a rivalry there, but also like begrudging friendship tsundere between the two. And like one of the weird things about the show is like the last 4 episodes are like we beat the final boss, but this is sort of like the hangout section before we go into the next season that's going to start like the next week after this show ends. So it's kind of weird. But like one of those last episodes is like Chaud goes to like a really small like factory in like the industrial district because it's like the factory is like a contract with his dad's company, and gets accidentally roped into being like the errand boy for the day. And he's like, yeah, it's a fun, cute episode. And it's just so, there's like the villains of like the first game who are all part of like World 3, because like they lose, spend the second half of the show basically being Team Rocket, where they're like both enemies, but also like at times begrudging friends with the heroes because they open up a curry shop that all the heroes eat at. And also there's like, we don't like each other, but also we hate we hate to the other villains from the second game more, and also we still will go, even though we're enemies, we'll still go and eat your curry at your curry shop, and really ridiculous things like that. And it's just fun. I had a good. It's a really good kids show, I think. I could definitely see like, oh, this is like a case of like, oh yeah, with the obviously the creation of capitalism, but this is a good case of like the multimedia franchise done well, where it's the anime is just doing a lot as like a not just like a companion to the games, but also like really filling in a lot of the gaps and like adding texture that like presumably if you watch a show and like you can go play the game now and you can like fill in the gaps a little bit more of like, oh, this character is like this because I've seen him in this show and that kind of stuff.
There was like a secret sauce that like 2000s in particular like Japanese multimedia properties had with this, because I do think of this kind of in that same vein as like Dot Hack, where it's like they just like planned
also online
shit out and did it. Yeah, honestly, maybe the internet is the as long as it's about the internet.
Because like this is like really the only chime that really happened with Mega Man. Like obviously Star Force is the successor to.
But Star Force wasn't as big, right?
Like they tried with the Star Force because it was the successor to Battle Network, and it didn't do well like immediately. And like meanwhile, like obviously, not that Classic and X Mega Man weren't like big deals in their day, but they weren't like this.
They started to kind of die at this point.
Yeah, that too. Like, but also like like Mega Man and X were like big. But they weren't.
They didn't have like shows and shit, really.
Well, they did, but they had the that one, that one show.
Yeah.
But like, I don't feel like
now I have your power.
Proto Man about to fire on Lincoln.
Oh no, he's gonna hit President Lincoln. One of the best goddamn clips of any cartoon ever.
I won't miss this time.
I owned some episodes of that on VHS.
I think I watched. I think I only watched like the first episode of that. Yeah. I don't think Classic Mega Man like reached Mario status in its day, like the way like Mario was like a franchise back in the 80s and early 90s in a way that's more reflective of what Battle Network was than like Classic Mega Man, I feel. And maybe I could be wrong. Someone who's actually like alive in the 80s could tell me otherwise. But yeah, like.
See, I think Mega Man was always celebrated as like, oh, popular game series, but especially like, I feel like a lot of the secondary stuff was just kind of kept in Japan and maybe didn't have like the push that it did over here in terms of like the merchandising and the spin-off stuff. And like, I mean, there's even like the we didn't get the soccer game over here, right?
No.
Like, stuff like that. So.
Or did we?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Anyway.
I could be wrong. Oh well.
I think
Maybe
I remember reading
the board. I'm thinking of the board game. Yeah, because we did get the soccer game. I'm thinking of like the board game one or whatever and stuff like that.
I think I remember like one of the best-selling games in the franchise was 4. And it may have been surpassed by like Mega Man 11, but also the Battle Network Legacy Collection may have also reached out similar heights just by like, you just blew up really fast, really quickly. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's just like, it was a big deal at that time, and like it feels weird because like I was of the era. I could have played this on the playground and talked to my friends about it, but I didn't. I was very stubborn. I guess about my arbitrary tastes.
So are you having that thing I had with Kingdom Hearts where it's like you're revisiting the thing you technically could have played and as a core childhood thing, but you didn't? Yeah,
absolutely. It's like, it could have been foundational to my childhood, but wasn't. Instead, I was like basically like the only games I really played was like Pokemon. So at this time, when I could have been playing Battle Arc, I was instead talking about like how to unlock the Reggies on the playground with kids in Ruby and Sapphire. Which I had that conversation with the friends a couple days ago. That the actual secrets behind the Reggies in Ruby and Sapphire is absolutely ridiculous. If you look that up.
I have a story about that.
Yeah.
I maybe when you're a child and you need help finding out how to do very obscure things in Pokemon Generation 3, you ask your folks to take you to the library so that you can rent the player's guide out from the library. And then maybe the time comes where you haven't been playing enough video game, but you have to take the player's guide back because, library due dates. So you decide to scan the back half of a very long player's guide and print out all the pages in color.
Oh, and you use the ink?
Yeah. I got into a lot of trouble. I got into a lot of trouble. People were very upset how much color ink I used.
Yeah.
But I did get all 3 of the Reggies.
Classic whippersnapper behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did get all 3 of the Reggies, though.
Red, you never played Pokemon.
I've never played a Pokemon.
Do you want to know how you unlock the Reggies in Ruby and Sapphire?
It will help for if I ever play that game. I have no idea. I'm going to tell you, I don't know what a fucking Reggie is.
Get ready to learn Braille, buddy.
Excuse you, they were the Pokemon in this recent batch of GGP episodes.
I'm not caught up on Eureka 7.
It's called Eureka. Excuse you.
Sorry. I think you'll actually find it's called Eureka.
Eureka.
Eureka. There we go. I don't know what a Reggie is.
There are 3 like legendary Pokemon that you need to understand Braille to get.
Yeah, they're golems, basically.
These guys
made of like. Yes, exactly.
The like we got a crystalline guy, an orange guy, and like black and red.
That's like
guy.
Ice, Rock, and Steel, as I think they're types.
Yeah, there's Regirock, Regice, and Registeel.
I see.
So there is a route in the south of Ruby Sapphire. That's ocean current, basically a maze, ocean current maze, going one direction, and you have to navigate the waves just right to get to this one part where you can dive down and enter a secret chamber. And this chamber is all Braille. And in order to unlock something, you have to have 2 specific Pokemon in your party and 2 specific replacements, and use a specific move, and that unlocks the inner chamber where it's like, okay, cool, now there's like 3 dungeons kind of unlocked around the world. You have to go find them, And when you find them, because before they're just like rocks, but now they might have doors in them. And then they go inside, and there's Braille in each of them, and each one has a secret puzzle you have to do, where it's like, oh, use fly in the middle of the room, or walk this many steps down, this many right, etc., etc. Or this one's like, wait 5 minutes or something.
Like genuine ARG feeling shit. Like,
yes.
It's ridiculous.
Yes.
But also, if you're like 12, the shit blows your fucking mind.
Yeah, like...
It's so cool. It's so cool.
Like, this is why we were talking about getting these guys on the playground, because it's ridiculous.
Yes, exactly. No, like, this is the one part of Pokemon where it felt like they understood how much of a playground institution it was, that,
yes.
like, they made this like a community effort when those games came out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now it's just on the internet.
Yeah.
Go to F Extra Life wiki, etc.
Is that how you say it? Is it not just Fextra Life?
I don't know. That's why I wasn't sure. I was hedging my bets.
I was like, have I been wrong this whole time?
I'm gonna be the cast. I've mostly heard people say Fextra Life.
Okay. Fextra Life makes more sense.
But I wasn't gonna correct Mel because I was like, maybe I'm wrong. So I was like, well, hang on, maybe.
But yeah.
Well, why use Fextra Life when we can all be on the brand safe fandom wikis?
True.
Rest in peace, Giant Bob. Rip to a real one.
But I just what I really need is I need some kind of platform where I can get specific news about Jeremy Renner.
And whether he's died on set on something or not.
But yeah, I wonder how many, like, I imagine like stuff like Base and the other super bosses would also be like playground material fodder. So shame I missed out on that, and I can't go back in time like 20 years and experience that. But now I can be like a completionist on Game Facts or something. It's good. Game's good. So when a game is good, you'll appreciate it whatever age it is. And I enjoyed this anime. I don't know when I'll watch more of it, because it took my friend and I 2 years, and they were like, let's watch something different. So we'll see. But I'd like to see the rest of the anime if possible. I watched the subbed, obviously, just so you know. But yeah. Good times. I like Mega Man. It's pretty neat.
Nice.
Mega Man good.
We can talk about some other man, though.
Yeah.
Another adjective man. Indicating
got
some form of strength.
Some form of aboveness.
Middle of the road, man.
Yes.
It is time for Overman Leo. I got some episode summaries here. 3 episodes of Ultraman Leo. We got the last 2 of the Folklore series, and then we're out of it at last. Episode 31, Folklore series, The White Flower That Protects the Earth, featuring Alien Burmin and the Insect Alien. There's an old man who uses this weird metal powder to make flowers bloom, turning the concrete world of Tokyo into a beautiful garden. He then keeps those flowers, gives those flowers to children, and then all the children who smell the flowers fall asleep for good. He's like, forget everything and rest. Mac investigates this sleeping sickness. Meanwhile, Kaoru picks a naturally growing flower and decides to nurture it at home. Toru thinks this is dumb, and he especially thinks it's dumb when he's choking on a piece of meat, and Kaoru pours a glass of water to feed her flower, instead of give it to him to stop him from choking. He gets up, smashes the flower pot onto the floor, and Kaoru is like, why the fuck would you do that? Grabs the flower and runs away, and Momoko is like, oh, Kaoru, stop it. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Gen finds Kaoru at the sports center and lets her stay the night there. In her dreams, she meets the spirit of the flower, who says Kaoru has saved her from the dirty air of Tokyo. But the image of the villainous Toru haunts this dream in his stupid, evil outfit, and she wakes up wishing Toru would get sick. Toru meets the old guy and asks him about the metal stuff he keeps scattering. The old man is evasive, and Toru steals some of it. Later, he's found with the sleeping sickness, and Kaoru apologizes for wishing he'd get sick. While Mac investigates the weird metal stuff Toru had on him, Kaoru notices an empty plant pot by his bed and decides to bring her flower to him as a gift. On the way back, she meets the old man, who tries to give her more flowers. Before Kaoru can accept the spirit of her flower, tells her, those flowers are bad. They're evil. This is a bad man. The old man responds to this by stomping on Kaoru's flower and generally menacing her until Gen arrives and rescues her. Gen confronts the old man. You're the one putting all the children to sleep, aren't you? And he confirms it, saying there's nothing wrong with what he's doing. He's covering Tokyo in flowers and giving children tired from their studies a much-needed rest. He loves flowers and children. Kaoru points out that if he loved flowers and children so much, why'd he stamp on her flower and then, like, generally menace her? And he's like, well, it's a fair cop, gov, and he turns into a giant kaiju.
You gotta respect how many like alien / kaiju are just like, I give up after one prodding.
Yeah, my cover story did not stand up to any scrutiny, not because the cover story was necessarily that bad, but because I didn't have the guts to stick to it. Mac attacks, and the Mackies get covered in flowers and crash. Gen turns into Leo and fights the kaiju. He gets wrapped up in vines, he escapes, and then he uses the cape to defeat the enemy. And then, like a magic trick using the cape, he summons a flower spirit who pours water over Tokyo and conjures flowers all over the city. All the children wake up, and Kaoru presents Toru with flowers, and he runs away from them. The end.
Whew, folks, laugh.
So we talk about episode 22. No.
Can I be real with you guys?
Yeah.
For the I was kind of checked out in Folks Law, obviously. So I was like, I just go watch this ×2 speed and not going to bother taking notes.
I finally broke it. I did also watch these on ×2 speed.
Which does mean I can't actually tell you what happens. That was.
I did my summary. I did my duty.
You told us everything.
I did watch the episode and take it in. Like I got it. I just don't got it.
Not a lot stuck with me. Yeah, it's like a
yeah, here's the thing. We've got 2 episodes that are worth talking about this week. Neither of them are this one.
I think the border when she has the flower dream is like, damn, that's terrible. It looks really bad.
Yeah. This episode is I'm gonna put in an effort. This episode's about Toru and Kaoru and like their relationship, and I think it's theoretically fun when she's like, oh, I hate Toru and I hope he gets ill, and then he gets the sleeping sickness, and she's like, oh, I wish that didn't happen, I'm really sorry. But also it's very perfunctory and I don't care.
It's also just like a very, very 101 basic, like, hey, don't accept gifts from weird strange guys.
There's like there's a general kind, so there's like
okay.
Yeah.
Didn't we just have that plot with the Muck and Mr. Clean shit?
We did have it with the Mr. Clean thing.
I do think Mr. Clean kind of did that better too.
Mr. Clean did it better.
Me when I'm arguing about detergents on the internet.
And fuck Tide.
I don't want to hear about your stupid pods.
Excuse me, our pods is all we have for people to listen
L
to.
plus ratio, Mr. Clean better.
You can't say fuck Tide in the Mac podcast. Look at their logo.
That logo's pretty good though.
Yeah. So yeah, there's like there's the scene where he kind of menaces her, and it like occurred to me in my head. It's just it's something that occurs to me sometimes watching old TV, is like there's like a cutoff point where before, like after that cutoff point, if you do an old, if you do like an adult menacing a child, it's got some vibes to it of like weird creep stuff, and before that it doesn't, because it's like this hasn't really been like this isn't like a thing that's in like the public consciousness in the same way, right? It's strange. It's like I don't necessarily think this is like kind of trying to evoke like, oh yeah, he's being creepy about this little girl. I think it's just he's menacing her as a villain. I think it's occasionally interesting to think about the way that stuff gets reframed like that.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. That's everything I have to say about this episode.
I there's a what folklore was this again?
I didn't get it in the title.
Let me see. From made withered trees to blossom, which is not something I'm familiar with. But
me neither.
I have seen many times, like Megami Tensei 2 has a sequence where like just feel the flowers that make you fall asleep, which like I know is also like Wizard of Oz doing, like there's something here that
was one of those
Bunko Wakatsuki being like, actually, I think it was one of those. Bunpo I being like, actually, you'll find there's nothing here.
There's one of those fields of flowers in the first sorcery book. It's just a dead end. You just fucking die.
Brad, remember when we went to the significant from the start of the game Field of Flowers and Tales of the Abyss, and instead of Tyr and Luke having a emotional scene together, they gender segregated?
Yeah.
They'll probably do something with that later in the game. Anyway.
Who made this episode?
This one was made by Masanori Kake and then written by Keijiro Okutsu, who have been with us for some time now.
Okay. Mal.
Special effects director Koichi Takano and Yoshiyuki Yoshimura, same duo as last time. Once again, Tetsuo Osawa designed Vermin, or whatever this guy's fucking name is.
Yeah, Vermin, I guess. I guess it might be going for Vermin.
Vermin probably makes more sense.
It does.
Using the B emoji.
Alien Vermin, yeah. I want to talk about episode 32. I don't care about episode 31 at all. I don't think anyone does.
I would also like to talk about episode 32.
Episode 32, Folklore series. Farewell, Princess Kaguya. I know this one.
Farewell, Folklore series.
Farewell, Folklore series. This is the final one. They actually managed maybe a half decent one. We'll see. There's a girl called
I still stand by that I like Tiny Leo.
Oh yeah, the Tiny Leo, yeah. There's a girl called Yayoi at the sports center, and she's 15 years old. This is a relevant detail. We'll get to it. I did not just note that for no reason. She's having these monthly weird feelings from the moon. Like, not like that. It's just trying to signal her. She disappears, and Gen, in both his role as his role at the sports center and as a MAC officer, goes to meet the family, and they're like, it's probably nothing. She's a weird kid. She's fine. They haven't seen her either. They don't think it's a big deal. She'll turn up. The only guy who seems worried is this bamboo cutter called Taro, who is like, she's going to marry me. And I'm like, okay. And Gen's like, all right, I'm going to go. And Taro's like, she's going to marry me, you know. He seems very worried that he's going to get cucked by the moon. Normal stuff. Gen finds Yayoi in the woods and sees her getting contacted by the moon, which looks like a beam of light falling on her. The moon tells her that she's the princess of the moon, and they sent her to Earth 15 years ago to protect her from some people who wanted to kill her, and now those people have been, like, executed, I guess, and she can return home to the moon. They will come for her tomorrow, on the 15th. They specifically mention that she's the princess of the moon people, and the line in my sub says, who live at the center of the earth.
That
What do you-
I also got that, and I don't know what's up with that.
I assume I assume they mean in the center
so we
of
have
the moon.
we have two moon races, one who's on Pluto and one who's in the center of the Earth. But also the moon is still talking to her.
I sort of have to assume that
they meant Earth as in ground or terrain.
They meant Earth as in ground, and they mean that the people live under the ground in the moon.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
I will, as soon as I finish this summary, I will be pulling up the YouTube subs, which are actually like official subs for me because I have those in Britain, UK superiority. Where was I? Yeah, Gen cuts off the contact from the moon and tells Yayoi, there's no life on the moon. And I'm like, make up your mind. Tsuraya! Is there life on the moon or not? You have to decide. Gen takes her home.
Not Mochiron left.
Mochiron left. Gen takes her home, tells her to keep this whole thing a secret, and there's nothing to worry about. Back at Mac Base, they're getting weird readings from the moon. The last time they had readings like this was 15 years ago. Uh-oh. Look, that volcano on the moon is exploding and launching a giant kaiju towards us.
50
oh
years
dear.
ago. Just...
Gen fills the crew in on the Yayoi situation, and Mac decide they have to defend Yayoi from this incoming alien from the moon. The bamboo cutter Taro gets involved too, insisting that this 15-year-old girl is going to marry me. All right, dude. I get it. However, Yayoi's father has his doubts. He admits that he found Yayoi, along with her moon pendant that she wears around her neck, out in the woods 15 years ago. They had always wanted a daughter, so Yayoi's parents viewed it as a gift from heaven. The father, in despair, declares that this is fate. It cannot be fought. Gen is determined to do everything he can, stating that Yayoi has lived on Earth for 15 years. This is her home. Tara says, yeah, that's right. Yayoi is my wife. And Gen's, please relax. The kaiju Kirara lands and is met by resistance from both Mac and seemingly the JSDF for the first time since probably the return of Ultraman. This was strange to me that they showed up.
I didn't even clock this, I'm gonna be honest.
It's just a bunch of guys in like army fatigues, and I'm like, is the JSDF back? What?
They're like, wait, is Princess Kaguya still? That's relevant to us.
Kirara shines his light on the house, and Yayoi is suddenly dressed in her Moon Princess outfit. She leaves the house while everyone begs her to stay, and she heads towards Kirara. Gen turns into Leo and fights Kirara, and Yayoi yells to stop fighting. She will go to the moon, and Mac members are like, are you sure? You know Leo generally wins, right? Leo is kind of on the ropes, though, but he's still determined. He yells about how the family that raises you is your real family, and Kirara responds, well, actually, you wouldn't be alive at all if not for your birth parents. Checkmate. And then a cloud passes over the moon, and Kirara is like, I'm weak, I'm sorry, I surrender. Then the cloud passes again, and he's like, psych, unlimited power. And then Leo beats him. Well done. Job done. Crisis over. But not so fast. With the last of its energy, Kirara destroys the moon pendant Yayoi is wearing, and she falls unconscious. Under the light of the moon, she awakens and ascends into the sky to return to the moon. Everyone watches her go. You can't beat fate. The end.
This moon rock kaiju is just like a rock with googly eyes on it. It's really funny.
It's a really fun. I'm a big fan of this kaiju. I'm a big fan of two of the kaiju this week.
Yeah, we're getting rid of the sauce back.
Yeah, I as was maybe someone could maybe notice from hearing my summary. I do not care for Taro interrupting the episode every 2 minutes to be like, that 15-year-old girl's gonna be my wife. So I'm like, calm down.
Yeah.
You have to chill. He's like, I got it the first time, dude. We're just gonna move on. No, he's very he doesn't have any other thoughts or any other character. That's it. and it's very I don't know if does he live with that family? Like he just seems to hang around there all the time. I don't know. Maybe he's counting down the days. Bit weird.
I think he is. That was kind of the vibe I got.
Yeah. He's got a calendar. He's crossing them off.
I think, is this the best of the folk slap?
Yes.
I think it is.
I think so. Yeah.
Like, I wasn't too crazy for this episode. Like, I think the vibes were stronger than the actual plot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely the most well put together one. It has the best, like, I think, cinematography. Just some really good shots, lighting, etc., just like good stuff with like the moon fog, like the weird bamboo stuff.
Yeah, the big yellow light is a very, very simple special effect, but it's very effective.
The trail leading to the moon, it's good. I think the only one that gives it a run for its money is the little 1-inch tiny.
Yeah, like that one, like. That one is compromised by the fact that, like, the misogyny is just unbearable. Like, it's, like, the second best for sure, just because, like, little Leo is just, like, delightful.
Well, you've got to pick your poison. You've either got anti-mother misogyny or sympathetic guy counting down the days until his girlfriend turns 18.
Well, here's what I think. That guy does not win in the end.
This is true.
Whereas the
mother is defeated. She is subdued.
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy is weird, but I also feel like he didn't stick in his mind as much.
I did have a very funny moment where I'm like, for as much stuff I have watched and seen that references the actual, like, tale of Princess Kaguya, I'm not super familiar with the original, like, story. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, that's a lot. Like, it is just a fairy tale. It's a lot more simple than I thought it was.
Yeah, it's not a lot to it.
Which is why, it makes for a good foundation for telling a story with, like, you can add a bunch to it, right?
Yeah.
So.
There's a Kaguya.
When you got a girl from the moon, you're good.
No, there's a Kaguya and Toho who has a rivalry with a human girl, and they try and kill each other with like a mortal Yuri.
Huh.
Yeah.
When Peter Dinklage talked about that wizard coming from the moon, that was Princess Kaguya too.
There's a Kaguya themed Pokemon too. It's pretty cool.
Ooh, what's the Kaguya themed Pokemon?
Let me get it's a.
I mean, here's the thing. There's a queen, there's a Queen Diana of the Moon Race themed Pokemon character.
There's also like a Three Musketeers Pokemon trio, which is funny.
Is the final boss of Bloodborne Princess Kaguya? No.
Oh.
Yeah. Is this Pokemon red?
That's cool.
Celesteela.
That's a fun Pokemon.
She's like a bamboo rocket.
I just noticed the bamboo stuff in there.
I think she's cool. Like she's an Ultra Beast, so she's from another dimension. And she's a grass steel type, I think. No, steel flying, and also I think the heaviest Pokemon ever at 999.9 kilograms.
Damn. Nice.
Yeah, I've told you about the Three Musketeers Pokemon before. Right?
We've talked about the Three Musketeers Pokemon.
Oh, right,
but
yes.
I don't remember it, so I'm gonna just look it up in my own time.
I think I remember now. You like pointed out on site which one was like which Musketeer.
Oh yeah. It should be straightforward.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking them up now, and I think the one with like the one that's like the biggest is obviously Porthos. The one that is the smallest is D'Artagnan. The one that has the big like collar, the blue one, I think that's Athos, and then the green one by process of elimination is Aramis.
Yeah. For some reason, the Aramis one also has like a weird paradox future form in Scarlet and Violet. But
okay. I mean,
anyway.
Aramis is kind of crazy between his like Three Musketeers version and his.
I've been thinking
like,
the past
the later
week
version, so.
I should read Three Musketeers.
You should read the Three Musketeers.
Yeah,
that's good. I think the rest of it is like a big commitment for.
Yeah.
I think you need to have a particular like. I don't know. I get a lot out of it, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend
like
the rest of
just
it.
As a 2 p.m. on a Saturday, sitting on the porch.
Oh yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
As the sunlight hits your glass of tea, just right. I should read the Count of Monte Cristo too, actually.
Anyway. This episode of Ultraman, I quite like the moment where the father just admits that we found you. We found you.
Yeah.
You're not our kid.
David Lynch
but
voice.
You are our kid. I think it's noble of Gen to be like, no. These are your parents. I think it's noble of the hero to decide that. But
then she
I also like that fate wins.
There is a weirdness to this too, where it does feel like the hero is fighting against her wishes, and she's just like, I'm not like, yes, maybe they are my parents, maybe I don't necessarily care for the future they've decided for me, and I want to see what hidden origins I didn't get to live with are.
Yeah.
And, like that's okay as a decision that I get to make for myself.
This is the kind of like why the decision that she makes, I think, is fun in terms of like there's a degree to which she does not have any input on Taro. She doesn't really mention him ever. I don't know that she's necessarily super enthusiastic. But the bit at the end where it's like, where she's like saying like stop fighting and stuff, there's also a degree of making, how much of the decision is I want to go to the moon, and how much of the decision is I want to protect my I don't want anyone to get hurt here. That kind of thing. I just think it's like a nice like little difficult situation. She makes a decision, and in the end,
and this whole thing is colored by like
us
watching episodes upon but also like episodes upon episodes of us like when people say like, oh, I'm from space and I have a good thing to offer you, we're I think primed to doubt that as an audience. Yeah. Watching Ultra shows, right? So
the aliens don't have your best interest in heart is the fundamental message of Ultraman so far.
Yeah.
Except for the angel coded ones.
The angel coded ones, yeah.
Who are the intergalactic police?
Mm-hmm.
The only good aliens.
Yeah.
Who will take care of the other bad aliens for you. So don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm. Who made this episode?
Interesting story.
Oh.
So, this was written by longtime writer Toshiro Ishido for us, but directed by a new guy that they got on here, and I think this is maybe part of the, like, hey, we got to do something interesting and special. So this was directed by Nobuo Nakagawa, who is a longtime director and I would say fairly celebrated director by this point in history. Lived from 1905 to 1984, and he's notable for a few separate things. He's also notable for different things in the West and in his home country of Japan. So in the West, to start, because it's much shorter, he is particularly remembered for a specific horror movie called Jikogu, also often translated as The Sinners of Hell, which is kind of like a cult horror film, which like a large part of the terror comes from like graphic imagery of people being tortured in hell after they die. and I believe like has gotten like Criterion Collection like re-releases and stuff like that. The film is also notable in Japan for being the last film made by Shin Toho before they declared bankruptcy, which was one of the first, I believe, of the 6 like golden era Japanese filmmakers to fall over time. So in 1961, they wrapped up on Jikogu, and they're like, this movie's not doing hot, and we just don't have money anymore, so they closed up shop. However, in Japan, Nakagawa is known in particular for being a celebrated ghost story and folk horror almost. Like, so this gets translated as folk horror, but as I looked into it, I think important to note there's a discrepancy. When we say folk horror, people are thinking things like The Wicker Man or like small town rural, like, you know, something creepy going on off away from the cities. But when I think folk horror is being used here, they're talking more ghost story with a folklore bent. Or like a folk tale, like
or
long, deep, rich history bent to it.
Or like yogai stuff.
Yes, yeah, like a little more like fairy tale nature, like superstitious type thing, more than like rural, small town, witchy occult horror that maybe it has more like when we say that in the West. However, also notable is that those films were a very small percentage of his actual output, but that's what he ended up being remembered for. And that seemed to have been something that kind of happened after the fact. In particular, he noted himself, only 8 of his films out of the 97 he made were horror movies. But those were the ones that were kind of remembered after the fact, and he kind of became known as like a celebrated horror movie guy. And he was a popular get for horror-themed anthology series as a result of that later on in his career, because they're like, oh, it's the ghost story guy. Everyone wants to see more stuff from him. He, as you can see, 97 movies, that's a lot of fucking movies. He seemed to be the type of guy that just kind of took whatever work he could. Like, he didn't really have a particular style or interest set in terms of what he directed. It seemed like, especially the early part of his career, he first got his start as an amateur film critic prior to World War II. Then he did some documentary work and comedy work when the war was going on, and then afterwards he just kind of did whatever people handed to him and went from place to place trying to live in a time of economic struggle, and like places were closing down left and right, so he'd get work. They'd be like, sorry, we don't got anything else for you, he'd move on. It seemed like he moved to China for a little bit of time and did some stuff there, and then he moved back to Japan. And he just kind of, took whatever job. The words he used to describe it is that he was a backstreet director, in the sense that whatever projects the other bigger directors at the studio didn't want to do, those ideas got trickled down to him, and he was like, yeah, I'll do that. And he found ways to make them work. So he was kind of loved by people in the industry just because he was doing the tough stuff that maybe people didn't really have the interest to do. But finding ways to make it successful regardless. But yeah, it makes sense to me that when you're doing a folk horror series, or just a folk tale, fairy tale series, this that maybe you get this guy. This is the guy you get to do a ghosty.
Well, I wonder why this is the best one.
Yeah, maybe you should get people who are good at the thing. To do the thing.
Yeah, people who are kind of interested in the thing. I don't know who's like have like, some anyway.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So yeah, it was nice to have an interesting guy to talk about after a long time of not having that.
Yeah.
Let me
tell you.
Yeah,
I wonder when we'll get another one of those, just because like will there be New Blood in 80? There definitely will be once we get to the 90s, just because like time. Obviously, yeah. But like
people be dying, people be living.
New people come to the earth with new, fresh ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what else do we have to say about this episode?
I can get my stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, I guess do that. And then I do have another thing I want to touch on with the episode. But yeah, do production.
Special effects director is Nobuo Ujima. Osawa once again on Kira. Kage played by Hisuru Ono. Reminder: there's a rumor that maybe part of this episode was inspired by like Ken Kumagai wanting to fulfill Eiji Tsuburai's dream of adapting Princess Kaguya.
I see.
Apparently, some of that dream was like Tsuburai specifically wanted Nakagawa to direct it. So I guess this was some of it. Yeah. Also,
more important episode than I thought.
Yeah, me too.
In terms of backstory, yeah.
I guess it's nice we ended Folklore with a bang.
Yeah.
Also, there's a observation by some fans like, oh, Gen's eye looks he looks so tearful in his eyes when Kaguya leaves, and it's so touching. Mm-hmm. And then in a 2018 interview, Ryo Matsu was like, when filming, I had a 40-degree fever, and I was probably crying and dizzy because of how sick I was.
This guy!
I'm trying to kill this man! Hang on. This is the first good episode in a minute. Maybe
hold on. We cannot, the ones who walk away from Omelas, the production of Ultraman Leo. We're not doing this.
Maybe Ultraman Leo is only good when they're trying to kill this man.
When the main actor suffers.
I'm just noticing a correlation. I'm not, I'm not promoting anything.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think it's funny. Put this man in the device.
Put this man in the device and you get good TV. It's just that simple. Brad, you had something.
Yes, I just wanted to say that Kirara is a friend. I love him. I am again pro. Please give the antagonist more personality sometimes. Let him talk. He's a fun guy. And he looks very huggable. He is the most huggable kaiju we've gotten in a while, I feel.
I love the little additional detail. Yes, I love the additional little detail of, we sent you to Earth because of, like, presumably there were people who wanted to politically assassinate you. And we've caught them and killed them now, and so you can come back.
Yeah, the
Can you imagine this big dumb chest glowing teddy bear eyes thing just smushing moon insurgents?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd watch a TV show about that.
Yeah. Is Kirara the Harry Ord of Ultraman Leo?
Kirara is the Harry Ord of Ultraman Leo. This is so true. Man, Harry Ord.
That's my guy. That's my fucking guy.
He's my guy too.
That's my boyfriend.
We're a pro Harry Ord podcast.
Most people are. I feel like
I beat the champion of Mban Evo with Harry Ord.
Excellent.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Only once.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
You just, yell universe and there you go. Well, unless we have anything, do we have anything more to say about this episode? I feel like we've been kind of brief on it, but I think that the strengths of it are in like direction and atmosphere.
Yeah, like you can only talk about so much. It's like you have to like watch really to get.
Yeah, on paper it's very simple. It's the execution that really makes this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sure.
like I don't have much to say about the plot because it's just, it's very straightforward and.
It fucking helps when you have a good director who can make the film look good.
Yeah, because someone knows what they're doing.
Once again, just the effectiveness of just shining a bright yellow light into this. It's just it's when you know what you're doing, you don't actually need to spend loads of money.
Yeah.
Akio
Jisoji vindicated there once again.
Yeah. Let's talk about episode 33, which is called The Leo Brothers versus the Space Demon Alien.
We're free!
We're free. No more Folklore. Featuring Akumania, the mysterious asteroid, and Alien Akumania, the space demon, and also Astra. Gen and Dan spot some kind of weird space asteroid that looks like a giant eyeball floating over Tokyo. This is Akumania. Meanwhile, Takashi and his mother are having a party at apartment later for her 33rd birthday. Their neighbors, a girl called Yoshiko and her dad, are invited. Meanwhile, we see the eyeball flash red over the apartment buildings, and the bouquet of flowers that Takashi's mum is buying sprouts a blue hand. The eyeball disappears. Gen and Dan are stumped. Back in their apartment, Yoshiko tells her dad he should marry Takashi's mum, and then gets this weird vision of the blue hand grabbing Yoshiko her leg. Meanwhile, next door, Takashi's mum is getting actually for real attacked by the blue hands as they come out of drawers and through the walls. Meanwhile, Gen's investigation is turning up nothing. Nobody has seen anything strange. Takashi, that he even interviews Takashi, and Takashi's like, nah, I ain't seen nothing. And then Takashi returns to the apartment and finds his mother in a strange, dazed state. She asks for water, but when he turns on the tap, it runs red. He is then immediately attacked by household objects, poltergeist style. Toru is on his way to the party with a present. Takashi is his cousin. But he gets a bad vibe off the apartment complex. He goes to Takashi's apartment and gets trapped by the poltergeist stuff, and eventually also attacked by the blue hands. Toru and Takashi fall into the same catatonic state as Takashi's mother. Meanwhile, Gen and Dan get a lucky break. A bunch of people are gathering because they hear a weird noise from that apartment complex right over there. Gen and Dan investigate and find that the vibes are, indeed, off. Gen finds Takashi's apartment and breaks in. He gets harassed by a blue hand, and after a brief struggle, he pulls the hand until it comes free of its root, and the spell is broken. The victims in all the apartments come to their senses, including Toru, Takashi, his mother, Yoshiko, and her dad. Everyone flees the building, while the alien has now become a smoke, which gathers and turns back into the giant eyeball. The eyeball blows up the apartment buildings while everyone runs away. Gen turns into Leo, and the eyeball turns into its final form, the space demon, Alien Akumania. I love Alien Akumania. Alien Akumania is really cool. The fight is on, and Leo tears off one of Akumania's horns and stabs the giant eye with it. Akumania then uses its rocket-propelled remote control hands to strangle Leo. Leo's in real trouble here. At this point, Astra arrives, and the two brothers immediately smoke Akumania, which turns back into a big ball. Astra carries that ball back into space, and he returns to some secret place that is one of the great mysteries of the universe, or so the narrator tells us. I don't know why it's one of the great mysteries of the universe. I didn't think you need to add that. The rescued victims thank Gen and Dan, and the narrator tells us that though the asteroid may be gone for now, there's no guarantee it won't appear above your town someday, is there?
True.
The end. So true. So I live in fear of the giant eyeball in the sky.
This is the same level of, like, was it original Ultraman or Ultra Q? I can't remember, what the narrator was like, sometimes there's nothing you can do. All you can do is run. Or, like, there was a weird brief stint there where the narrator seemed dedicated to trying to scare children.
Well, it might have been Ultraman. It might have been. Yeah. I think Ultra Q was less narrator-pilled.
Yeah, you're right.
Outside of, entering the unbalanced zone in the next 30 minutes, just as
yeah.
Whatever that
This is the kind of vibe that you would hope for from, like, a horror series that they just didn't bother. Instead, they had, like, that bear episode.
Yeah, because there's the Hokkaido series, apparently.
There's the Hokkaido series in the middle of the horror series.
I think this episode did awaken, like, a latent fear I don't really know I had, but, like, I do feel like shows up in enough ghost stuff of just, like, being grabbed by just a hand.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, even if it's like even if it's a blue rubber glove.
Yeah, but, like, it's the fact that it doesn't connect to anything that's the scary part. It's just a hand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alternatively, it does connect to something, and if you pull it hard enough, it will undo the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like in this. So yeah, the like real, like, standout stuff in this episode is the victims getting attacked in their apartment by the hands. And by, like, the kid getting strangled by the phone cord is, like, proper, like, I was like, man, I should watch Poltergeist.
See, that was what I was thinking. I'm like, this is this is like the climax scene of a Poltergeist movie, but every time the attack happened, it's like it's the climax scene of a Poltergeist movie. It goes from 0 to 11 so fast.
Yeah.
There's all like use of camera and lightings a lot to like make it seem really claustrophobic too.
Mm-hmm. I was a big fan of like the sort of like comedy level horror stuff of you turn on the tap and it runs red, and then immediately into the whole house is trying to kill you. I'm a very big fan.
Yeah.
I also I feel like maybe I'm crazy, but like one thing I noticed when we switched from Taro to Leo is just like a change in the color grading of the episodes.
Okay.
And I feel like we may have lost that potentially in the more recent episodes, especially the folk series. But I feel like the color grading's back because I feel like Taro was a brighter show, and this like the lighting of earlier episodes of Leo were definitely like cooler and less bright. And I feel like maybe they brought back some of the brightness when they're trying to shake up the show. And this feels like I noticed it looks like a more subdued lighting.
I haven't necessarily noticed. I hadn't necessarily noticed this, but it's believable to me.
Just watching this episode, it looked like the color grading reminded me of the early episodes of Leo, and I noticed that was like a thing that made early Leo stand out compared to Taro.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of forgot. I wasn't sure as much if it was like
Yeah, it certainly feels like. I keep trying to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying if you look at like the boat, the little Leo on a boat, the color is a bit brighter, etc. Example, but yeah, it's it feels a bit like the show's visual identity is also back a little bit. Maybe I'm crazy about this. Someone can correct me, but
yeah. I can believe it. It's certainly like the first time in a while the show has felt like we're putting in effort.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're
making a Leo episode.
We're making a Leo. I mean, they are missing the training. We didn't get any. I think I spoke too early about maybe doing a training sorter for this show.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm maybe retiring this idea because I don't think it's gonna be worth
it.
I
think we should at least let's say what our favorite is at the end of the pod. In case we hard to say if we get more, we might not, but we may as well say what. Assuming it's not the car for all of us.
It might just be the car. It might just it's possible.
See, maybe this is just a sign the training was successful. He doesn't need any more.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because now
you can stop practicing. Once you can get good enough that you don't have to practice anymore. That's what all my music teachers have told me over the years.
Same with all my fighting game friends.
Yeah.
Gen didn't pay $60 to block.
Oh yeah, I forgot. There's like paid coaching for fighting games sometimes.
One of my friends has done that and actually saw pretty good results from it.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like this kaiju. I'm a big fan of this guy. I like how this kaiju fucking. I'll go for it.
Oh no, I was just saying same.
Yeah, I think it's good.
I like how this feels like a crazy level of threat from this whole thing, how this whole thing went down, and they're like, oh, this is like a terrible power that we have to take away from Earth. And I'm like, you're damn straight. I saw what it fucking did. Whereas most kaiju, and they're like, oh, this is like an end of the world level threat. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Leo can handle it. Whereas this is,
there was a brief bit of time where when it went from being just an eyeball to the bigger monster, I was like, oh, there's part of me that was hoping it was just going to be a creepy eyeball.
Yeah, I feel the same.
But then I do think this guy is like classic alien monster design thing of like the body and the head are just kind of one big blob with arms and legs attached, and he kind of looks like a lovable doofus, and I kind of like it. Like, for how threatening he is,
yes,
he does look kind of silly, and I like that.
Like you look up Akumania and think of all the things I've said. Now look at its big goofy teeth.
Yeah.
It's very
like it looks
silly.
like a Kirby boss a little bit.
This looks like a Dragon Quest creature.
Yeah.
But I think there's like scenes of like characters approaching the apartment complexes, and then like just shots of all these buildings and like with no one around, and it just feels so imposing. And I just think, damn, this, you know, we turned on the good Leo switch again.
Yeah. I'm like both. I said cautiously optimistic when I watched this episode, because I'm like, one is not a pattern. We just
it might
left.
just be an exception. You know.
But also, I'm like, you know, if they stop folk slop and immediately go to having it again, then, you know, I'd be encouraged.
It's possible. Fingers crossed. I think maybe these, you know, they have to do, because they don't have loads of time, and so they have to try to essablish like some characters that can be victims of the horror stuff that goes on very quickly. And they do a pretty decent job for the amount of time they have, but it's limiting. It's like you've got the Yoshiko, her dad, and Takashi and his mum, and it's just like, yeah, we can establish this, you know, possible relationship between the mum and the dad, and that's about the best we can manage. And you know, it's like enough, but there is, as always, a tension between the bits of Ultraman that are, you know, unique, and the bits of Ultraman that are, we get big and fight an alien, fight a monster.
Yeah.
I
mean, that is, you know, I think it's kind of like sometimes the formula just bites you. Like, that's why you do get seasons of Sentai where it's like, well, I wish they wouldn't just get in the robot, but they have to, you know.
Yeah.
Or, you know, when you talk about, like, sometimes you just wish the Precure episode didn't have them fight the monster.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I just, you know, maybe I'm having to catch up on the new Precure because I'm not, you know, I'm not really caught by these characters, and also, you know,
I like one of them.
They start to fight a monster, and I'm like, hey, you know, maybe I'll look at my phone for a bit. I'm just, you know, we'll see.
I like the purple one.
I have only just got to the purple one. This is what I mean by catch up. Is like I've got to her first episode, and I'm like, oh, maybe this is my one for this season. This is the girl.
So sometimes there is the double-edged sword of a new monster every week.
Every week. It's, you know, I like the giant eyeball.
Yeah.
It's funny, the shift from this horror menace, you know, with like the flashing red and then the hands coming out of the walls and stuff, which is all really good. And then it turns back into the eyeball, and it's just got like machine gun fireworks coming out of its eyes.
I was like, when is this guy just gonna attack people? And then it starts doing it, and I was like, hell yeah.
Just like fucking obliterates those buildings. It's great. Who made this episode?
So this was written by longtime Ultraman Leo writer Bunzo Wakatsuki, and then directed by Nobuo Nakagawa, the guy who also directed the last episode.
Hey, we got a new cool guy. We like this guy.
I wonder if he's back for a while. That would be pretty cool.
I don't think he's ever written or worked on an Ultraman thing ever again.
Damn.
Okay. Well,
just came in, made 2 decent episodes, and dipped. All right.
They got him like, hey, you're known for doing cool horror stuff. Want to do some Ultra stuff? He's like, yeah, sure. So I don't think he'll ever pop up again, sadly. But
That's
I'm
fine.
happy we got him for these two.
Sometimes it's nice to just have someone who dips for a bit, and it's like, oh, that was a special.
And I'm sure they're bound to do this sort of thing again.
I feel like I'd rather they get more people to do different things than just rely on like the same set of people a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a little bit like, I know Jisoji's not done with Ultraman yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer we go, the more I am like, where the hell is he? When's he?
Yeah.
I don't know when he's coming back, but I know he's coming back one day, but I don't know when. It's like every episode is like Jisoji Russian roulette. I don't know. Eventually, I'm gonna pull the trigger and it's a Jisoji episode.
I do know, and this is so fucking funny.
Is it ages away? You can't tell me.
I can't tell you.
Okay.
My lips are sealed.
I know when at least one of the later ones is.
Okay.
Because I've seen it.
Fair play.
Anyway, my stuff.
Mel, your stuff.
Oh yeah. Brad, you go first.
I was gonna say, I don't think I'm an Astra fan.
Oh yeah, I mean, Astra shows up in this episode. It's in the title, is like the Leo brothers versus the space demon alien, and it's really funny how apparent it is that they were like, okay, so Astra has to show up in this episode, and it's like, well, okay,
he like saves Leo.
I guess we'll let him
minute.
rock up for 30 seconds.
Calling them the Leo brothers, like the Mario brothers.
Yeah.
Which means that what's Leo's first name?
Ultraman.
Oh. What's Astra's first name? Oh no, Astra is his first name.
Yeah.
It's Ultraman Leo and Astra Leo.
Yeah.
There we go.
Astra Leo sounds like a mid-platformer for the Famicom.
Or it sounds like it does. It's not a good enough title. I was gonna say, or it sounds like a really good shmup. No, it doesn't. The shmup titles go too hard.
I think about the shmup Phalanx, which for whatever reason on the Super Nintendo has just a picture of a guy with a banjo.
Yeah, that's a classic.
It's like, what does that have to do with the video game? It doesn't. My pet theory is that just like how Leo is Seven's protege, clearly Astra is Zophi's protege.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Astra's learning from Zophi. Astra's off in the Zophi cave, learning how to do Zophi stuff.
Yeah, like be here and then not here.
Yeah. Mel, your production stuff for this episode.
Yes. Special effects director is Nobuo Ujima. Akamania designed by Kengo Kime.
Thank you for that Akamania design. Yeah. I love this little guy.
I like how when it's a big eyeball, it's like really intimidating, and then he turns into a kaiju. It's like, oh, he's a fun guy.
Yeah. Huge goofy teeth. I love the teeth. I love it so much. Do we have what else is there to say about this episode? It's kind of another one that's like, it's like we can.
I did joke about the hands being clearly blue rubber gloves because they are.
They really are.
But I do think is the episode's credit that like it still works despite me noticing that. Like they do a lot to like obscure / like. With a camera, angles and lighting to make it like still feel threatening. And I think that's
also like sometimes they pull off a special effect with the blue glove hands where I'm like, wait, hang on, that's not a because like when Gen is like pulling out the hand and it's like this really long tentacle and I'm like, what? Hang on,
yeah. And then the narrator's like, yeah, and then all the fog just started like leaving every room at the same time and going in one place. I was like, oh shit, there we go.
Yeah. This is like a good spooky kaiju.
Yeah.
I love the hand just coming through the straight through the painting and grabbing Toru. It's really good. Wow.
I feel like hand through the painting is a thing I see in like a lot of like anime and game, and like I wonder if there's like a thing there.
Well,
like
they got a thing for hands over there.
Well, like an old horror movie that did that was really you know what I mean? Like just like that specific image as like a horror thing. I feel like it shows up all over the place, and like I wonder if there's like an origin point of like a movie did like a famous scene with that or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
it's possible. Do we have anything more to say about this episode? That sounds like a no. In which case, we're done with Leo for this week.
Yeah.
Forever.
Pretty upbeat week, all things considered.
I'm glad we ended on like a high note. Like, not only was the we step out a folk slop and it was good, but also like even the last folk slop was at least pretty good.
Yeah.
I did have the semi unfair feeling of episode 33. I do feel like this is a pretty good episode that feels even better because it's coming at the tail end.
Yeah, like it's hard to tell, but
but would it hit the same if it was coming in between like the absolutely insane episodes we were getting early in Leo? Maybe not, but for what we've got right now, this hits.
Like, I do think in another context we'd be like, yeah, it's pretty fun, and like not have too much to say. But coming at the end of what it was, it hits different. So,
well. We shall have to see where Leo takes us next. For now, we're done talking about it. The only thing left is... Mel, do you have color timers?
I do. Episode 31, 2 minutes, 49 seconds. Episode 32, 4 minutes, 52 seconds. Episode 33, 5 minutes, 33 seconds. Presumably the oil crisis is still happening. Astra, 1 minute and 9 seconds. Also, I forgot to say this last week. I confirmed... with my Ultra friends who know the lore. Ultraman King, no timer. So I will not be measuring this going forward.
That's just 2 buttons.
Yeah.
On his chest.
Yeah.
No timer.
No, he doesn't need it.
Damn. It's just him and Ultra 7.
Yeah.
Is Ultra 7 a secret child of Ultraman King? Is he like half god?
Maybe.
The Hercules of Ultraman.
Yeah.
His Ultra 7 tasks.
That's how he gets the name. He had 7 labors.
Yeah.
Alright. Do we have any emails?
We got 1 email.
Okay. I do have a question. Is it a long email?
Yeah, it's pretty long.
No, we can do it.
Okay. This is from Kat. Subject line: Leo really doesn't feel like a show with 50 episodes in yet. I don't know what she meant by that, but hello. She's giving reactions to both our previous episodes. So first, episode 100. I'll be honest, this is my first time hearing there are people other than me who really like the good parts of Double Zeta specifically, but I only got into Gundam very recently, so this is my opinion for the past couple months. I just really liked watching Master and Chara fall over, and I had an easy time buying into the war is funny and silly because the incongruity is clearly deliberate. Then it pivots into serious plot stuff. It feels like it's at odds with the vestiges of the silly stuff slipping around, so it's hard for me to appreciate either. Also, they keep making me look at Glemmy. Parentheses, a lot of this is due to my feelings on Zeta, but I don't think I should subject you to my entire OG Gundam opinions just because of offhand comment you're talking about Elgaim. Should play more plus R. After Friends, you strive to hook me into fighting games in general. I was kind of convinced of it on the basis... I was convinced to get it on the basis of it's the other one with Bridget in it. It's kind of interesting, though. I could win a decent number of sets against my friends who actually play at the locals, but I feel like I don't have a solid idea how to talk about the games in the way you did in the episode. Because I'm just impressed by the levels of knowing how to talk about what you're doing. People really have into this stuff. Apologies to my good friend Mel for making her read this paragraph. Okay, we're talking about Nikke and kink baiting on it, so it's on the table. See, the problem I have is that most straitjacket character guys don't actually do it to restrict the character. See CC from Code Geass or Jacko from Guilty Gear. Like, come on, what are you doing? This guilty girl in Nikke is like the one time I've seen someone actually go through with it. I've seen clips of jokes where her texts to you are garbled in her frustration because she has to use text to speech. It's embarrassing nobody else has done it properly. It's a good thing I swore off Gotcha years ago, so I don't have to embarrass myself in turn by playing it. Anyway,
you're living a better life.
That's my life too. Anyway, Ultraman. King's design is so weird to me the others, and like if Father and Mother of Ultra actually run their planet, therefore he's not actually a king, but some kind of weird Jesus guy? ?
He's like Aragorn.
Or like, no. Therefore he's not actually a king, but some sort of mysterious god-like figure to the other Ultras, despite them being kind of like Jesus. Does this mean Father is the king and King is the father?
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe.
I feel like I even if at some timeline I became religious, I don't think I could become Christian because I just don't think the Trinity works for me. I think it's silly.
I gotta call up Catholicism, give them some feedback. I don't think this Trinity thing is necessarily working for me.
I just think it's, you know. I know. It's silly.
They're different, but they're the same. But I
have flashbacks to like 7th grade religious ed classes of our priest getting a little heated, trying to explain to us how the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit are all the same, but also separate entities. And also, what the fuck is the Holy Spirit to a kid who really was not getting it?
I just don't think the Trinity is something.
The Holy Spirit's the contentious one, from what I remember.
I mean, that's
the one that everyone got some hot takes on.
I mean, there was like the whole divide of the Arianism, which was like, well, actually, it's dualist, not Trinitarian, and that was like why they started killing each other. And I'm like, that I don't get this.
I've ever told y'all about my like. This is so stupid. There was like a part of me kind of getting disillusioned with my Catholic upbringing where I was like, I don't really believe this anymore, but like I wasn't really fully ready to go into all like I'm just gonna call myself agnostic mode yet. Where I went to like, well, those deist guys seem to really know what they're talking about, and then I was like, no, that's stupid too. Deism being the belief that a lot of I think at least some of the founding fathers had, that Christianity is right, but God made the world then fucked off and just let it run, and doesn't really have much to do with the actual ongoings of the day-to-day existence. And I was like, I can get behind that.
Father.
And then at some point, I'm just like, I just don't think any of us fucking know, and who the fuck are any of us to say? I'm just getting behind science.
I think that's a bold religion for the founding fathers to have when they're trying to get rid of the empire, trying to tell them to stop to stop having slavery and stop trying to fuck things up more.
Yeah. I also like the anecdote from history that I read on Twitter once, which is like, there was a debate between a Christian monk and like a Muslim clergyman in Saladin's court, where the Christian managed to trick the Muslim into accepting that the Trinity was real. And Saladin thought that, and like Saladin thought this was hilarious. And then when the cleric was like tried to complain, Saladin was like, "Shut the fuck up, just
oh my god,
don't be salty."
Saladin, all-time guy, big fan.
Yeah, he's not like other men.
He is not like those men.
Well, I did find this very funny diagram that I think will explain it all to you.
Okay, let me see this.
Yep,
this is from the Wikipedia page for Trinity.
Yeah, this is the classic that I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
The Father is not Spirit, is not Son, is not Father, but is God. All three. Wow.
Well.
The rest of this email.
Yeah, so anyway, episode 101. I think the other thing with modern magical girl genre is a lot of these miniseries are for adults and are riffing on subverting or subverting or otherwise reacting to a baseline idea of magic girl, and this gives the impression of a larger quote-unquote main genre they're responding to that kind of doesn't exist anymore, which is just Precure now. Speaking of, thank you for putting into coherent thoughts. I'm trying to express on gender and Precure, and around me I do want to check out more of the original where that quote-unquote pressure isn't there. Like, Hakachi is cool. It goes hard on making you feel like Precure is an important aspirational tradition, and love all of the extra toku stylings. But I had about like the worst intro angle to it, where people kept telling me Itsuki had so much capital G gender, I'm gonna love her, and then I watched the show and the gender question isn't being different so hurting you? Don't you want to be normal as feminist and everything else? And like I can see how you can make a strong trans rating on a character, cautiously kind of showing femininity, but expectation really tripped me up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that expectation is I would I think that's gotta suck, because like the actual Itsuki stuff is so kind of, it's just kind of conservative. It's just kind of oh she's being oppressed by society into being a boy. No, she's not. Shut up. You know. What if the world was made of cake?
Yeah. JD Vance believes this.
Yeah.
He killed the fucking Pope.
He sure did.
Killed the Pope over it.
I think we didn't talk about the fact the Pope died like the same day that we did our 100th episode.
The thing is, they said he died on the Monday.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I did see someone posting, and I was like, this is absolutely true. They were like, he totally died on Sunday. And they were like, no, that's gauche. We're keeping that a secret until tomorrow. It's Easter Sunday. You can't die on his day. You can't.
Yeah.
That's so rude, dude. We're keeping your death a secret until tomorrow morning.
Bold of them to say they know better than God, and then God would find his plan gauche. If you think about it, I think there have been many Catholics over the years who have found God's plan gauche and decided that actually what they think should go down is how it should go down. Actually, I mean, like all the recent Catholic converts who also think that the Pope's policies are improper and not Catholic. Despite him being the Pope.
The people converting to being like, yeah, I'm a Catholic, and then being like, what do you mean I have to do what the Pope says? That's kind of your thing. That's kind of the Catholic thing, dog. You should have known this.
I think we need to have another like bringing out the body of an old Pope to put it on trial incident again. That was a classic.
Can we get the ones who like collaborated with the Nazis or Operation Gladio on trial? That'd be great.
All of them?
Well, we can work on it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The Itsuki stuff is like a real shame about Heartcatch. It is what it is. Oh wow.
Yeah. Anyway, final boss down. Hey, Lamau. One end ceremony's way to get rid of alien magma. I generally remember him showing up a few times as a semi-recurring villain, but it's weirder and more who cares than my memory. To be fair, maybe they were planning on him just showing up in the final episode or two before 1 million retools. So as I can tell, Tsubura has retroactively labeled the magma in this episode as a different one to the one in the early episode. Huh? And I don't know if that's better or worse. On. Like, sure, it means we don't get rid of the final boss in a half-ass way, but it also means I guess we have no resolution, question mark? That guy's still out there? Well, pick a version you find least disappointing, I guess.
We gotta go back in time. We gotta invent a time machine. Gotta go back in time. And I'm going with like Japanese to English like dictionary, and like I'm just gonna try to tell these guys how to do their fucking job. This is crazy. What do you...
Well, I think the thing is, the guys did do their job very poorly, but then people who, it seems, probably came after the fact made it even worse.
Yeah. I'm just, the magma thing's so fucking... What? Gen's arc is over. Unremarked on.
It's okay, he has his brother now.
He has his brother now. Well.
We'll see where that goes. Because maybe I'm presuming at this point he's just going to show up more again.
Yeah. Anyway, this email.
Yeah, that was in the end of it, actually. So.
Okay. Thank you for your email.
Thank you for your email.
Thank you.
Thank you for your email. We're not doing this again. The magma thing's fucking... I don't... come on. Tsuburaya.
It's like... I actually have to ask them, what were you thinking?
What were you thinking? What were they thinking?
Do you know how to do a story?
No.
Yeah.
Nah. Fuck
so
that.
They spoke to some guy. They got some toku fiends into a room, and they're like, "Oh, you need to tell us what we got to do to get the viewers back." And they were like, "Oh, bring back alien magma." And it's like, "Kill alien magma." Got it. Written that down. What's next?
Can you bring him back again? No, he's dead.
No, he's dead. Well, maybe we can say we didn't actually kill him.
Before this episode ends, can I give an anti-recommendation in light of recent events that happened?
Yes.
And what I talked about yesterday? Not yesterday, last podcast, I brought up the BBC Maestro Alan Moore course, and I was like, oh, this is so good, maybe I should spend money on this after I'm done with it. Yeah. and now between me saying those words into a fucking microphone and the publication of that episode, BBC decided that they were going to digitally resurrect Agatha Christie to teach a course using deepfake technology. So no, don't give them your fucking money.
So funny.
I saw that and I went, fuck. I was so mad. I was so fucking mad.
I saw that and I was like, I'm just not even gonna mention this to Brad. I'm just gonna...
No, I saw it. I fucking saw it. I was pissed. I have another anti-recommendation while we're here. Okay. Don't, if you're living in America, Subway has the Dorito foot-long steak nacho tray or whatever the fuck. It's bad. I'm sending a photo in the chat. Look at this shit.
Damn.
That's terrible.
Like this is slop.
This is gross.
That's like literal slop, not just the euphemism we're using a lot.
There wasn't even enough chips for the stuff in the
no.
tray. I had to get tortilla chips from my pantry to finish it.
No.
Fuck you, Subway.
Fuck Subway.
Fuck you, Subway. We got Mr. Sub over here. That's a Canadian chain.
Mr. Sub?
Yeah.
Mr. What?
There's a chain here that's a Canadian chain called Mr. Sub. I think they have that. Yeah, I think Oh, yeah.
You know what? The few times I have been in Canada and have gotten subs, y'all get those with the side of your fucking ketchup chips or all dressed chips, and the fuck, that shit's good.
Yeah.
I wish we had those here. It's a crime we don't.
I don't get Subway. I don't do that to myself.
I think Mr. Sub is better quality anyway, personally.
Yeah, there's almost always, at least over here, and I'm sure over there, like, there's better options than Subway.
Near me,
locally.
near where I am, we got one of the few, like, UK Jollibees.
Oh.
However, it is like the people who they're getting by on like minimum effort right now. They're like it's like it's real, like you're rolling dice when you go there. It's such a shame because when it's good, it's real good. Anyway,
nice.
I think we have like exactly one Jollibees and also one Cheesecake Factory, both in the GTA.
There is a Burger King that I just have stopped going to because, like, I think 3 times in a row they somehow fucked up my very simple order, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna not go here.
Funny enough, in my parents' town, the McDonald's there has always messed up every single order we've gotten there ever.
Yeah.
But the Burger King there is pretty good in terms of getting it right.
Yeah.
See, that's my. I'm in the war of McDonald's versus Burger King. I historically have been on the side of Burger King. It's just the one here is unfortunately not very good.
UK still has those chicken selects in the McDonald's, which would be my go-to. Yeah. Anyway, this isn't a podcast anymore. What are we doing?
Are you kidding? This is exactly what a podcast is.
This is exactly what a podcast is.
Yeah. Don't get the Dorito slop tray, and don't give money to the cyber husk of Agatha Christie. Fuck you, BBC.
I think Mega Man has got to go into the BBC and destroy the husk.
And destroy the husk of Agatha Christie.
Man. If he could destroy vast swathes of the BBC while he's there, that would be great. All right, we are done here. If you want to follow us, yeah, hang on. Sorry, there we go.
There we go.
If you want to follow us, you can find us online on Blue Sky. We're at UltraQ. That's UltraQUEUE. We are also on Twitter at Ultra_QUEUE. It's, no underscore on Blue Sky, underscore on Twitter. I'm also on Blue Sky. I'm at Red November. Mel.
Hi, you can follow me at DuCrowns on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can send an email, ultraqpod@gmail.com. We have a coffee, the UltraQ Fund. Regarding subtitle stuff, there's stuff, and there's motion on stuff in the background, which I'll
There's
hopefully...
some plans. There's some devious plans going on.
Things on different... There's different stuff. Multiple things going on.
Wheels are turning.
Also, Rec Wired. Use the other subs for episode 34 next week.
Episode 34 next week. I watched the next time for next week, so I know why.
Yeah. It turns out the reason you needed the subs for this episode was specifically for the next time on it.
Wow.
Brad.
Yeah, I'm being invoked on Blue Sky. That's BEINVOKED.
Or anything else.
Is he a YouTuber?
Yeah, I'm a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Much to his shame.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Is it alleged? I guess it's allegedly lately.
It's been allegedly lately, minus some streams. Every now and again I pop in to stream.
Streaming's YouTubing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has been for a couple of years.
Let me tell you, I wish it wasn't. I yearn for the old days of 20 to 30 minute videos.
When Fauna did Outer Wilds as a Let's Play, and I was like, first good VTuber Outer Wilds playthrough. I was so tired of chat being like, no, you missed something.
The internet decided that they want all of their favorite creators to have to deal with the blob of anonymous people that make them mad and completely derails conversation so that they can argue with random internet comments. What a great system we have.
What a great system. We must return to the Let's Play. We must return to the...
You know what? I'll bring it back. I'm bringing it back.
I still follow Let's Play.
Will you?
I hope. I can try.
It's time.
So you're gonna finish Ultraman, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe you should do that on an SMT route you didn't do.
Yeah.
There are, I should play. I have SMT I'm meaning to be playing at the minute. Anyway. We're done here. Goodbye. See you next week. 3 more episodes of Ultraman Leo.
We're getting again to the end. If you want not, you won't really know. We're in the finals. we're on the the downward slope.
We're on the downward slope. That doesn't promise good things. Maybe we're we're coming up on the other lip of the valley.
Yeah. Basically, we're approaching the end slowly. We got like a third of the show left.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we have 2 weeks from now. We have an extra. We're doing a bonus gaming thing again. We agreed to do.
Oh yeah, recording that on the 25th of May.
Yeah,
I believe.
Well, Brad's not here.
Brad.
Yeah.
It was. Here's the thing. We decided. We were talking about it in the background. We were like, we might do one on maybe on the 25th of May, like tentatively, and then on podcast. Also, I think in the middle of recording, Brad mentioned that he wouldn't be here on the 25th of May, and you just hear the wheels turning in both Mel and I's mind. It's like,
yeah, because I like asked Brad when Combo Breaker was. He said that it was that day. I was like, oh, okay, excellent.
Yeah, very good, very good. We're already well prepared. All right, goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Later.
See